Welcome back to Dead of Ages Past. This is session number 8, um, titled To Death in the Family. Last session, the group was assaulted by the Adams brothers, and in the battle in the alleyway, Valette kind of wandered away for some reason, unbeknownst to the others, while the others had a struggle with these individuals and were ultimately. Well, not defeated, but one of them got away, and the other one was defeated after Sayre was put down and killed. Um, During the fight, or before the fight, she had broken the seal on a letter that was left for the Adamses, which had magic on it that if the seal was broken, Biken, the witch hunter, would know right where the letter is located and be able to track it and get to it quickly. So shortly after the fight had resolved, she did arrive on the scene and demanded that they don't touch either of the two bodies. She took up both of the bodies and left before the watch had started to really interject themselves on the scene. Ren decided that he had to inform Sayre's husband as to what had happened. Roxgar, feeling defeated emotionally and physically, wandered up to Red Wheel as well, but did not go as far as Ren and stopped off at a bar he frequents, known as Skilgore's Hammer. It's also a temple to the Dwerson. Gilbert kind of went on his own way to go handle his own financial businesses. Yanloren hopped into Ren's car and drove off with the supplies for the Idealist for that initial drop that was already planned. As he drives to the location, he does see up ahead, kind of walking on the street, looks like moving between two trolleys, a very familiar looking face. Not quite Valette, but definitely someone you would recognize as one of Valette's personalities. So you kind of pull over, and he sees you and kind of waves you down. Or sorry, she sees you, kind of waves you down, and you two kind of get into the vehicle and start heading for the drop point. But that's not where we're going to start. Where we're going to start is Kilgore's Hammer. The lights are kind of dim. It's midday, so they try to keep the atmosphere kind of dark and gloomy inside at all times, even at night. It's more the spirits of the dwarves that kind of bring people to life here, but strangely, that kind of solace that you were hoping to find here at Kilgore's Hammer, Brox, isn't exactly something that you are getting. It seems that you are not the only person who hard times have fallen upon. A lot of the people here are quiet and, melancholy, keeping to themselves and drinking from their tankards. The barkeep, who you recognize as Alan Bug Pounder, he kind of serves you your drinks quietly, and every time he kind of moves away from you, you see him just arduously going through his books, and it looks like he is... You're a grown human being, man, whatever. You've had situations where you're hardly making ends meet, and you're, putting together your finances, trying to figure out your own life, and it looks like Mr. Mug Pounder is in that current state of it. Looks like he's trying to make sure every coin is accounted for, and trying to make sure he's going to be able to make ends meet in the next month or so. But yeah, no one's really talkative. All the dwarfs are pretty silent and pretty to themselves. Anything you'd like to do as you kind of sit there with your tankard?
Nothing special. I'll tap on the bar and get Mug Pounder's attention. Hey, Mug!
He wanders over. Yeah, what do you want?
I'll slide 5 gold across the bar. I know things are tough and you're busy, but I'm going to need you to keep them coming, if you don't mind.
Every little bit helps. Yep.
I appreciate it, brother.
He says, likewise. Walks over to the bar, kind of pulls out a pony keg and kind of sets it out onto the table and taps it for you, kind of set up on a small little block. And you would recognize that this is the Mug Pounder's family brew that he's pulled out for you, not the just random dwarvish ale that he kind of serves on common. And he leads you to your drink. easy enough for you to pour your own. Um, as far as the demographic for Kilgore's Hammer, it typically doesn't wane outside of the dwarvish folk. But there's dwarves from all different kind of walks of life. You see some who look like they probably work at the docks of Red Wheel. There are a couple who look a little bit more studious, and you might recognize from seeing around at the college. But there's also a couple who are, they look like they're more, not unlike yourself, crafters, laborers, actual smiths. But as I said, outside of possibly a couple of, maybe a handful of examples, there aren't really too many folk outside of the dwarven kind. Which means that when a man walks in, a human man walks in, it's kind of noticed, and a lot of the dwarves kind of give him a bit of a look. The gentleman who does enter into the tavern looks familiar. Red hair, sturdy look to him, and you recognize him immediately as Sayre's husband. He walks over to the bar, sits down. Lord Mug Pounder, give me your strongest drinks, spirits, whatever. Just give me what you got. He doesn't seem to notice you on your side of the bar. He does sit a ways from you. And Mug Pounder starts to kind of settle some beverages out in front of him. Almost as if he knows exactly what the man is really asking for, even though he didn't get too much into detail. What you see him kind of place before him is kind of an old, probably bourbon or barrel aged drink, spirit, and a couple of tankards of ale. And Mug Pounder says, "What's got you down like everyone else here?" He looks up and he says, "I don't really want to talk about it right now. Let me get through a couple of these and I might be crying on your floor. How about that?" Alan kind of gives him a nod. Sure. And then kind of wanders back to, his books. Anything you'd like to do?
Close my eyes real tight and pretend I'm invisible. No, I don't even try to strike up a conversation. I try to go on my own business.
And avoid him. Okay. There's a very quiet tavern for everyone present. Not much beyond that goes on. Ren, you were with him, and he said he needs a drink. You kind of offered to accompany him, and he said, I want to be alone, kind of wanders away. It leaves you at Balin's Watch with a couple of people you've never met. And as I mentioned last time, one of them appears to be someone who he trusted in confidence to speak to. This woman, Amanda Sternblade. And she kind of doesn't really broach conversation with you, but for an idle, so how'd you know her?
We fell together during some difficult time.
Yeah, and she doesn't really say too much beyond that. Doesn't seem to be engaging very much. Is there anything you want to say to her, or you do also have the opportunity, if you do engage in discussion, depending on what you say, I might give you the opportunity to scrutinize.
Okay, so I'm just trying to understand. So what do I know about Balin's Watch and the people who would spend?
So from what you gathered in your research, specifically of Sayre, is that Balin's Watch is a mercenary company, and they basically take on all different types of jobs, but their code is based on an old Harnan warrior named Balin, who was a shield bearer for the Empire during the Third Age, from what you recall, and was quite the commander. and tactician, and he believed in doing things for the right of the realm and making sure that every thing that was trying to quash civilization, be it evil or just the selfish, should be stopped.
Okay, that's really helpful. Okay.
Oh, sorry, it was Rowan Balin. Sorry, is the patriarch's name.
So I would say something like, yeah, we're having some really hard times here. Have you heard all the trouble at the Magir's Tower?
I haven't been paying too much attention. We keep to ourselves out here in Red Wheel. The association kind of allows us a certain amount of freedom from their, some might say, tyrannical rule. However, we do follow the laws, magistrate.
So she says, we follow the laws, magistrate?
To you.
me?
Yeah, kind of gesturing with her eyes
yeah,
to your
yeah.
badge.
It's a badge, yeah. Yeah, I try to follow the law too, the spirit of the law. And I sort of let that hang in the air for a moment.
She kind of leans forward and she says, "Are you saying you're not entangled with the serpent?" Which you would know basically is more idealist speech from what you recall in Spellmoth as being conglomerate loyal.
Ren would say, I side with those who fight for the common folk, and always am wary of those with too much power.
Well, we just had a recent opening in the Watch. Are you looking for any kind of work? And she says it with kind of like a curtness, but at the same time, there's like an honorific. It just sounds. It sounds kind of dark humor, but at the same time, it just you understand that she didn't mean anything awful by it.
Okay, and I would just sort of take it for what it was and say, no, I have more than enough to keep me busy, but I'm always looking for allies that want to fight the good fight.
Well, if you require any help from the Watch, we're definitely able-bodied and ready. I am the leader of the Watch in the city, but we are based a bit farther north. But this detachment is mine own. Yeah, our prices aren't terribly hard, and if the operation you have in mind is something that we can really get behind, the spirit of the objective, then it may be a bit cheaper than you might think. Roll intelligence investigation for scrutinize.
Thank you. $23.
So these are the three factors you pick up from Amanda from just kind of paying attention to her as she talks, and watching her, paying attention to her. First off, you're pretty sure the longsword at her hip, if she were to pull it free from its scabbard, she could probably split you in half before you can blink your eyes. You're damn certain of it based on just everything about her, her movements, her stature, just like if you've ever seen a Kurosawa film where the two samurai are sizing themselves up, you've had the time to kind of do that, and you're realizing that she is the superior Blades person. That's one. The second thing you kind of pick up from her is that she cares about those under her that are members of her watch, but at the same time, she seems to be trying to distance herself from Jack. At this point, she didn't resist too much when he left, or anything like that, even though they were having discussions beforehand. It seems like any sign of weakness in the group when it comes to emotions, you see her as more of a venerable person. She tries to build up kind of a block for that. But you can tell that she does care. It's just that she doesn't like to show that she does. And last but not least, she is genuine that if you do need assistance in anything, to come to her, and depending on what it is, she may actually not charge you for it.
Okay, that's all pretty helpful. Do I see her noticing my blade?
No, she doesn't seem to be caring too much about your accoutrement or anything about you. She does focus on you and pay attention to you as you're talking, and you think that mainly she's just kind of keen on that. She there's a certain arrogance in that to you, but then you kind of, knowing that you've just kind of analyzed her as you've done, you're pretty sure she's already scanned you from foot to head, and she already has solidified everything she needs to know about you in her brain.
Okay, so I guess I'm thinking to myself that this is a person who is a good contact that might help us in a pinch, and I don't want to push anything right now because I don't know enough.
Okay.
So I'm just going to thank her for her time and give a bow and be on the way, heading back to Sayers.
We'll cut from you, and we'll go ahead and snap to Gilbert. You go to the bank. You're just making deposit or withdrawal.
Sorry. I need to withdraw 50 gold pieces to go pay Dougal Brandt to do my paperwork for my claim on as the heir to Sidney Wellenbart.
Okay.
So he told me to do that to get him gold within 2 days, but that was probably this day or yesterday.
Today.
But I figure since I got nothing else to do,
Yeah.
I might as well go to the bank.
You had a job to do, you dick.
Before
Yeah, but you're gonna do the job.
before
You're
you
gonna go do the job.
Gilbert is a dick, yes.
Okay. It's true.
Since I
Wait a
have
minute. He didn't ask you, Matt, or you, Zach.
Gilbert,
He asked me what I was doing.
by the time you've withdrawn the coin and made it back to the Capitol building, you do find your associate, Brandt, and give him the coin, and he says he should have the all of the documents drawn up by tomorrow morning and submitted in time for court processing then. He does not think that you will be called into court for any claimancy or any kind of necessities therein, so you won't be put forward at anything. But he tells you that within the 6th day, which again, if you recall, we're in like the 1st or 2nd day of this 6th day, he says that within the 6th day you should be called forth and brought to the court for discussion to basically be able to honor your charge. So he says, within that time, before you're called, definitely try and get as much conversation between you and Stormloft, however you're going to do it, to get yourself as much documentation and proof that you are who you say you are. Okay. After you're done with that, which doesn't take too long, again, you're just kind of giving him coin and finalizing. What would you like to do? Would you like to head back to anywhere in particular, or?
I would like to head back to. Do I have a contact within either this province or the other one that I could talk to get stuff back to Stormloft, or do I just basically need to use my
long range
communicator?
Yep.
I'll just use my long range communicator to make some,
Okay. Now,
probe for some information.
a real quick note: that thing isn't very small. It's definitely something you'd have in a pack, so you probably haven't been carrying it around. So I'm going to ask you, because I didn't ask you before, is it still in the car, or did you leave it back at Sarah's house?
That is a good. I probably wouldn't have carried it around in the car with me, so it probably would be back at Sarah's house.
So I
I'll
assume
have to
that's
go
where
back
you're
and
headed.
grab it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have Ren and I have Gilbert heading towards Sarah's house. Perfect. Okay. Speaking of Sarah, you're sitting in the car, Tim, with Yen Lauren, looking like you're dressed up in normal garb, or are you looking like Sarah?
No, that's like the whole where people take their Facebook profile pictures and set it to like in remembrance of them.
Oh.
In remembrance of Sarah. I look like
Nice.
Follette.
Okay. The generic form. Got it.
Yeah, I'll be less.
Okay.
But
You pull up the vehicle to close to where the drop point's located, Yen Lauren. Actually, before that point, I need Lauren. I need you to make 2 vehicles land dexterity checks.
Oh, this will be entertaining.
Okay.
14,
And
21.
okay. So you don't really draw much on the way in the way of eyes from
Oh,
the
shoot.
watch.
I have guidance next time for
Okay.
those.
No worries.
Because this is the first time I've ever driven a car.
Fair. You
So I
managed to
would
pick it up pretty well just watching the left.
Oh, I
wheel.
also took Prodigy as my feet. So that's how I got vehicles land as a proficiency.
Okay.
For anyone who's...
Nice.
I was.
Curious.
I was a little curious, but being honest.
You get in the car,
Well,
and Lauren's driving really well, quite skillfully, and maneuvers the vehicle to the meetup point where you'll be delivering the supplies, which you have, as if I recall correctly, detected that most of it is black powder or blasting powder. And this is where you'll be delivering it to the idealists. You see that there does appear to be a warehouse as described to you. And just outside there is a... I guess I'm going to have to yield real quick to Matt. Matt, you and your 5 have been sent here to pick up your gear, this allotment, and return it to the master of the idealists at their establishment in Spellmont.
Right, and I'm arresting them, right? I've got it. Okay.
Right. There are 4 others besides you, and we've already given you their names and their descriptions. There are 2 floors. The upstairs floor is kind of just like the best way to think of this warehouse is more like a parking space. There are 2 levels that are really kind of allotted for this empty portion. The second floor does have a small office kind of close to the wall that allows for like a window to kind of overlook the entry point into the warehouse point. But the downstairs point and the upstairs, majority of the upstairs, is pretty much just empty space with stone pillars kind of holding up every 20 or so feet. Where would you like to have your boys positioned?
I mean, for the most part, they're just sort of like positioned, sort of a little spread out in front of the warehouse, not trying to look too conspicuous, but like they're supposed to be there, just casual.
You'd have one main contact person who'd be kind of close to the door, who would be able to kind of get them in. Of the 4, who would you'd say would be that?
Honestly, I'm going to go with the one who, personally, I think is the least likely to betray me. So that'll probably be Winston.
Okay. All right. So you guys drive up to you guys walk up to the building, keeping the car away. Go ahead.
While we were driving, I would have commented to you and Lauren about be aware. Maybe nothing. There may be someone who's may show up. We can talk more about it later, but be on watch.
This is enigmatic, but I accept.
Hey, John, as
Yeah.
well, can you tell us where Brox and Ren and Gilbert would be in relation to...
Brox is still at the Hammer. Ren is probably getting a trolley ride that is going to be, let's see, by the time that they've arrived on that scene here, I'll just move some tokens around. That sound good?
Yeah, that would be great. Thanks so much.
Yep. So Ren, you are all the way up here in actuality. So you're probably right about here in relation, taking one of the trolleyways or the air carriages in that direction. Gilbert, you headed south to the capital, and then you would have been taking a trolley, so you'd probably be right about here in a trolley. And then Brox, you are where you are, and then everyone else is positioned where they should be. Good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you kind of walk up, keeping the car away, not driving the car right in or anything.
Are
Go
you
ahead.
staying normal, Valet? Sorry.
Would you like me to take upon a different?
Please, let's keep your appearances to ourselves.
So, I look like a human. I
Oh,
just
okay.
have my.
No, stop. Yen Lauren, when you were first approached by Valette, when she was a member of the conglomerate and an enforcer, the appearance that you met first off was the one that's now sitting in the car with you. This
Right,
is
and that's the
generic-
one I don't want.
Right.
I don't want your like standard human form to be
Okay.
the one they see right now. Just pick any other personality. It can even be Sayer. I don't give a
In
shit.
remembrance of
But
Sarah.
like, I want you to like
Too soon.
stay. I want to keep a layer between the new people right now. I like having cards, and I don't want to give them up unnecessarily.
Tim, make a wisdom insight check.
Wisdom insight. Hey, and I rolled a 14.
Solid. Based on what you're doing and what you're going into, you think the scummier and the more brigandary you can kind of look, the better. Because Yen
okay.
Lauren does not look like he's a thug. He's got some prim and proper pip robes, but he does not look like he is ready to square
Yeah.
up with some dudes and straight up throw down. However, if you start looking like, Blades, you might kind of bring a little bit more of an air of oh shit to the conference.
Right. And I keep judgment loose in its scabbard, ready to draw at a
Okay.
shield at the ready.
Okay. You guys start walking over in that direction. You see a very large, hulking individual kind of standing near the door, kind of appear out of the shadows and kind of look over at you. He's wearing kind of loose-fitting clothing, looks like leathers underneath, and you can see his grayish-colored skin is covered with tattoos, and he kind of looks at you with a square, chiseled face. His brow kind of just like a wall just descending down over his eyes, and he kind of squares off and kind of looks at you and says, "What? Who are you? Are you the one they sent?"
Yes,
All right.
we have what you want.
Okay. Then what's
Winston!
the code?
Winston!
What? Shut
Ask
up!
him for the password!
I just did, boss. Shut up. I'm sorry. Just hold on a second. Kind of walks over, like looking at you. What's the password?
Oh my god, do I have a password? I don't remember a password. Was I given a password? Fuck. I should take notes. Oh, god damn it!
1 second, I might have written down.
Yeah, you would know that Yar is quite skilled with ranged weaponry. He has taken a position inside of the office with you, but he's looking out the window, and he's squared off. Yen Lauren and Valette, go ahead and make a wisdom perception checks, please. You would also know,
24.
Matt, the weapon he uses is a very special device. He calls it a needler, but you would actually know it to be it fires a dart, or like an actual, like, not like a needle or dart, but like a dart, like the blade, out of basically a hydraulic cannon.
60.
Okay, you both would notice that there's a pretty long-barreled weapon pointed down at you from upstairs, a window that's kind of been broken out, this warehouse having not been used in quite some time. And you would also notice the Goliath. Underneath his robes, he's kind of reaching behind his back, and you see the haft of a very large, probably broad-headed weapon, possibly a maul or an axe, kind of out from behind his cloak, and he says, "Password, or we're square."
Do I remember a password being given?
Make an intelligence check.
Right. +1.
No. Yeah,
I got a 7.
Yeah, Lauren, you can also throw on an intelligence check if you'd like.
Do me.
I rolled a 9.
You don't recall a password. And you hear Yar kind of whisper over his shoulder to you, Matt. And again, sorry, I just noticed your broadcasting image is still your old character. It seems like I keep doing that with dead people. I'll fix it next session. It's fine. But he says to you, they drove up in an auto carriage, and I didn't see anybody with them following them or anything. Do you remember if we told the people back at, or if the old Rostigar people even sent over a password?
Well, I mean, I told them that they need to be telling these people passwords. If they don't, then how do we know whether, they're actually with the group, or they're just here to, fucking kill us?
I know, boss. I know. You want me to shoot him?
This man who talked to you, can we talk him? He seems smarter.
Winston! Do they have a password?
They don't!
Oh, hold on a second, Yar.
All I know is the guy didn't give us no password.
Yar,
He just told us to put the
give
stuff
him a
in the
warning
trunk
shot.
and bring it here. So if you want it, we could deliver it. Or if not, we could be on our way.
As you're trying to finish that
Just
sentence,
sit next to them. Not at them. Next.
as
just
you're trying to finish
next-
that
next
sentence,
to them.
a large knife kind of just stabs into the stone ground near your feet, Villette, and you can hear a sound. It doesn't sound like a bang. It just sounds like a very solid, push sound of wind as the dart slams into the stone near you. And then you hear a clink, and you look up and see this long-barreled weapon that's being wielded by this half-orc, right? For Yar? Kind of staring back at you.
In one smooth motion, I draw my sword and shove my forearm into the guy in front of me's neck and say, "Do you want the goods or not? We can be on our way if not."
Whoa. Hold phone. We relax. We calm down. We breathe. Hold. Wait.
The Goliath isn't. He hasn't moved. He still has his hand on his weapon under his cloak, and he looks up and he says, "They didn't say nothing about owls, boss."
Jar. Phone. He's saying hold the phone. What's a phone?
This what I call phone back home. And I pull out the comm device. Because I got one.
He has a communication device in his hand. You would know that.
I'm so confused right now.
Petra has a communication device for the group, but you've seen one. You know what it looks like.
Yeah. Okay, so.
He didn't say nothing about owls, boss.
Yar, you don't remember us mentioning a password to the group, did you?
Yeah, I don't even remember the old Rostigarian password. It's something about owls
I'm
or
not
some
sure
shit.
if it had
Though.
anything to do. Is it owls or is it bears? I thought it was something about bears.
I think it's both.
Ooh! This. You mean words to get indoors? Yes. You mean words to get indoors?
Wait.
What password means?
Hold on, real quick. Tim, make a strength athletics check.
This is where I wish I put my ASI into +2 strength.
No, you're good. You're good. It wouldn't have helped.
I rolled a 9.
This is what you watch happen, Zach. You watch as the Goliath just very suddenly drops the weapon behind him, and it makes a loud thud sound. It catches Villette off guard, and she kind of looks down. Well, Blades looks down and kind of looks like it's he's prepared to stab out. But as he kind of regains his presence and looks back up, the Goliath has grabbed his wrist that's holding the sword, flung it to the side, sending Judgment 20 feet away, and then has grabbed Pockets by the throat with the other hand, spun and lifted and pressed the strongest person about 3 feet off the ground against the wall. And he says, as he looks over at you, "Password. Word to pass." He's just holding Villette against the wall.
John, so is with one hand he's holding
Your wrist.
my wrist and the other he's holding my neck?
Yes.
Okay.
You saw the
I
hand
bash
trade.
him with my shield.
Okay.
Whoa, wait, is
Hold on.
no shame? Oh, you son bitch!
Wait. No. Yanlorin. Before he gets his attack, because he obviously did a thing, and you haven't done a thing, before he starts swinging, are you going to say something?
Yes.
Did you figure it out?
Yes, I didn't get it because there's a first part to password. See, you say to me before I answer, you say, no shame for bear, and I say, owls not so lucky. See, this is why I get confused. You not say no shame bear.
As you're swinging the shield and preparing to do that, the Goliath is dropping you, and you're just kind of crumpling to the side, and he kind of walks away from you. Like, you're like, oh, revenge! And he just ignores you and walks over, and he says,
Well-
I think he got it. It yells back up to you. He said the thing about the owls, boss.
I would say the minute he let go and dropped me, I paused.
Okay. Yeah. He literally just lets you fall, not concerned about how you're landing, and is walking away from you. And you kind of, are stopped and listening. And he looks at you. And he goes, I think he's right, too. I think I remember I had to say something I forgot. It wasn't password, though.
Honestly, I don't even know any at this point. Just, let them up.
Wait.
We'll figure it out otherwise.
That's not... And you hear from the downstairs, you hear a voice kind of, you guys are really loud, and you know it's Peter, and he says, they can't come in unless they have the carriage.
Right.
The Goliath kind of looks at you and says, get the carriage, bring it over.
I go get auto carriage.
Okay.
I go and retrieve judgment.
Yeah. The Goliath kind of walks back into his post inside of the door.
I pull the car around.
All
So
right.
was that actually what the password was, Yar?
Yark goes, Peter probably knows. He pays attention and shit. And you know who definitely knows? Nogue probably knows.
I know, but I don't trust Nogue. He's always small.
Yeah, Winston's good people.
Yeah.
And you guys drive the vehicle in. As you kind of get in, there are lights on the front, but they have to be turned on. But it's dimly lit in this place regardless. You do see that there are two figures kind of moving up to the vehicle as it's kind of coming into park. And Valette, you're kind of walking in. As you're doing so, you're kind of looking up at this stone mountain of a man, or a Goliath, kind of looking down at you, kind of just watching you as you walk past him. Not intimidating, and he doesn't look like he's being cocky or anything. Just, he seems to be very suspicious.
I'm also, as I'm walking in, I'm kind of looking over my shoulder, looking around for you-know-what.
Okay. Yeah, doesn't seem that that's the case. But you do see that there are two other figures that are moving up to the car. And there's a staircase that kind of leads up to the upper floor. The two figures that are near the car, one is a gnome. Looks like he has kind of just a tousle of blonde hair, kind of a tabard and chain shirt, and a mask at his belt. The mask is an idealist mask. And the other individual that's with him is a human fellow who, looks smarmy and cocksure and roguish and kind of a young Harrison Ford kind of look. The two of them kind of walk over to the vehicle and look into it where you and Lauren sits. They don't stand too close that it's like you can't feel comfortable getting out of the car, but they are kind of close to the vehicle waiting for you to get out.
I do so.
Yar says, you can go down, I'll keep an eye out for him up here.
Right. I'll go down there and write the people, vet them.
Yep,
Yes. You wait here.
sure thing, boss. You head down the steps.
Ah, is men who shout from above, come grace our presence.
Descending down from the stairs is describe your character.
So he is a human with like dirty brownish kind of robes and has like bright green, slightly spiky sort of hair. Kind of disheveled looking, but has a little bit of a like spark in his eyes.
Okay.
Those teeth.
Aren't they beautiful?
No.
So anyway, you come down. You see Jimmy Blades, who we described in the past, and Yen Lauren getting out of the vehicle. And what would you like to do?
I am going to go over and, first of all, just sort of check the contents of the carriage. Make sure that everything is as it should be.
The auto carriage's boot seems to be closed, and there doesn't look like there's anything in the back seat from what you can see.
So, where's the goods? Where's the stuff? Where's the hash? Where's the insert other innuendo here?
Easy in trunk. Why we leave on back seat? That's how cops get you.
That's a good point. So can you then open up the trunk? I just want, like make sure everything's actually there.
This is something I can do. And I do, so.
Okay. You pop it open, and all the contents, the boxes and crates and bags that were placed in there by the Idealists and Old Rostigar are present. You can see...
I would like to say, I start to actually, like, not just look at the bags, I'm going to sniff some of them and lick one of them.
Okay. Yeah, they have... so you're kind of actually anticipating something from that, and what you're kind of looking for is a sea salty taste, because you know that the Old Rostigar ports are particularly for nobles, and you know that the noble who's kind of ingratiated in the Old Rostigar Idealist cell is the one who was able to kind of slip these past customs and get them to the parties that you want them to be with, and into this carriage and proper.
Yeah,
so,
that's why he made that choice.
No. He also notices, too, that the seals and symbols that are present on them appear to have kind of falsified custom symbols, so that if they were pulled over and they were caught with these articles, they do actually have... You do know that there is a false trail, ledger-wise, as to where these articles came from and where they're going.
Well, yeah, of course, otherwise we'll just be stupid.
Agreed.
As he goes into sniff and lick, Jimmy Blades points out, "Make sure you only touch the merchandise. Anything else and it won't go well." Referring to my disassembled in the trunk.
Oh, okay. There... was it in the trunk or was it in the back seat?
Well, we just said that nothing was in the back seat, so...
Okay, so then, yeah, there is another box in there that doesn't look like it belongs. It does look like some sort of device. Make a... intelligence... if you have Tinker's tools trained, you can make it with proficiency.
8.
You don't know what it is, but it looks like some sort of device.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really care about the device anyway. I'm just looking for stuff that's actually, like, important to me.
Okay. You kind of notice a shadow behind you, Lilette, as you kind of make that statement. And you kind of turn and look over your shoulder, and you see that the door of the chambers have been closed, and the doors of the warehouse have been closed, and you can see too that they're basically ready to pull the contents out.
Right, so everything tastes good, boys. Pull the stuff out of the trunk.
Oh, I'm not going to be doing so.
I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to the boys.
Fantastic.
Are you one of the boys? Are you?
Well, that's what my mom told me when she was just when I was little pup.
The
Your
Goliath
mom
kind
was a
of
liar.
steps in and kind of grabs one of the largest crates. The gentleman who was kind of standing outside of the vehicle kind of walks over and does so as well. And then the little gnome kind of walks over to this green-haired fellow and looks up at him and says, "Did they say the password all right, boss?"
Yeah, they said the password perfectly fine. Something about bears and owls.
The Goliath says, "I remembered," points at his head. "They got it right." All right.
Yeah, see, Winston remembers. Winston's fine.
Yeah, I trust him. Okay.
Yeah, why wouldn't you trust him?
Sure. And then They kind of get all the stuff and kind of set it near one of the stone pillars. Once the carriage has kind of been emptied out, they look to the boss, and then they kind of look to Yen Lauren and kind of wait for the engagement to be concluded.
So I never caught your name, Mr. Man from Sky.
Right, my name. Just call me Sam.
Sam, I like, is one syllable. This you should learn from Jimmy Blades. 3 syllables, ridiculous.
Your name's Jimmy Blades. Kind of long and pointless, isn't it?
It's a pretty fucking dumb name, Winston says.
Right? Is like dead make swords for a living? Who has last name Blades? Is ridiculous.
The gnome kind of looks up and says, I don't think it's his real surname. I think he took it himself. I think he made up his own name.
Oh, you think he make up on Blades' name? Oh, he said. Oh, is this true? Is he? You make up on Blades' name?
The half-orc from up above, you hear him yell down, he says, more like Jimmy throws blades.
Yes, I like other man from rafters. He has good burn.
The Goliath shakes his head with kind of a smile on his face and then like loses the smile and looks at him, looks at Blades and says, it's a pretty dumb name, but sorry about that. Nobody deserves that kind of ridicule, especially during a job. Kind of looks around.
And Valette is just whatever. Like,
Yeah,
Valette is there to put on a persona. Whatever helps it.
I hope.
It
I
all
hope he
rolls
understands
off
that.
the back.
We're doing group camaraderie.
Right. Well,
If all of
Winston
Sam's
makes a
friends
point.
like Yen Lauren, then Sam must like Yen Lauren.
and Jimmy Blades just looks like unamused, but like not angry or anything. Just like whatever. Think what you must.
We're done here, boss. You hear from Peter over by the pillar.
Right, that's good. Yeah, no, Winston's right. I mean, honestly, times are a bit crazy right now with all of this stuff going on. Like, seems like things are getting interesting around here. A noble dying, and then someone finally killing that stupid rat bitch. I mean, honestly, it's about fucking time someone took care of that. Nobody's
Rat
Not even you, Nog.
bitch.
You should know. You should know about that, Nog. Come on, you know. You know what I'm talking.
Yeah, that was us.
What?
Wait,
That was.
Wait, that was real?
Yes.
The little gnome says. That was a real
you
thing.
guys killed the rat bitch from House Karloff.
And all her flesh golem too.
It's true.
No, what are you talking about, flesh golems? She was kidnapping people and feeding them to demons. That's what I heard.
Well,
Is lots of messed up things happen in house.
The little gnome walks over to the Goliath and whispers up to him, or kind of speaks up to him, not audible, and says, I thought he was just making that shit up.
I told you before, I wasn't making that up. I was told that.
Mountain.
I've been keeping an eye out.
Winston says, you should listen to the boss more often. Trust what he says. Peter and Peter kind of says back to you, if you want to talk to him a bit more, I don't think this is supposed to be a smash and grab. That's why we haven't killed you guys yet. So, boss, if you want to talk to him, we've got the carriage in the back. We'll be moving this on over to the boss's place.
Yeah, go ahead, take that over there. I'll be along in a bit.
So, Yar, Peter.
as they head out, not to pry too much into whatever plans you might have for the merchandise, but be extra on your guard, just in case.
Yeah, whatever.
I have it on authority someone might be looking out for this stuff.
Yeah, law
Who's
enforcement.
authority?
Specifically.
Yes, specifically whose authority?
I look
Winston
at
kind
you,
of stops and looks at both of you and says, "Aren't you two working together?"
I look at Yen Lauren,
He kind of looks
walk
down
over to him.
looks down to Sam and says, "Why would he know something, especially when that guy looks like he's in charge? I don't know shit, but you know a lot of shit. And if I knew something, I'd tell you." He kind of like
I
looks,
go-
Tell me if you know something.
looks back at you guys, but this time,
Yeah.
as he kind of turns to look at you guys, you notice that there's this huge hammer in his hands. The face of the hammer is a death mask, just like a big skull face. And he kind of says,
Nice.
"Who the hell are you guys?"
To Yen Lauren, I go like this to try and make it seem like a mask is coming off, and I'm just saying, I might have seen some dead men walking, and they might have mentioned an auto carriage package delivery. So gotta be on our
Mr.
lookout.
Blade is drunk. He hear voices all time, I'm sure.
No,
John, I wanted like, is he? Do I think that the Jimmy Blades fellow? Do I think that he's telling the truth right now?
no, not without rolling anything. Just no, just based on your character.
So, where'd you hear this from specifically? That there might be people going around with an auto carriage and all that sort of stuff, or a carriage, or
No.
anything with wheels.
The gnome looks up at you and says, "Hey, boss, you want me to go with him? Just to make sure we have extra coverage."
Go with us where?
Not you two. Fuck you.
No, what? Who's going to go fuck with you?
I'll keep.
Yeah,
Well, I
obviously,
must say,
go with
plenty people have
I'm
go
small
fuck
enough.
with me.
I'm small enough. I can fit in there. I'll go. And the three of them leave,
Yeah.
leaving you and Winston.
Anything goes
here.
wrong, you know what to do.
I know exactly what to do.
Don't. Yeah.
Fucking
do
burn
that.
him. And he leaves. And as he does so, he kind of snaps his fingers, and you can see the firebolt spark in his hand, and he kind of walks on out. The
So
three
where
of
did you hear
them.
that from anyway? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say the three of them get into an auto carriage. You hear it roar up outside, or towards the back of the warehouse, and it leaves out of a different entrance.
Where'd you hear that from, Mr. Blades? If that's your real name.
Character is so ridiculous.
He is.
Well, you asked if. Obviously, I know about the delivery because I'm a part of the delivery crew. But
Are you?
before heading over, I happened to overhear this in the market, and that's what's making me concerned. I'd better be overly cautious and be made a fool and be taken by surprise.
What, you heard some conglomerate fellows? Winston says. Is that what you're talking about?
They mentioned it.
Who the fuck were you following?
I wasn't following anyone. I just happened to overhear it.
They were just talking about business and open. What the fuck? Kind of looks down
I
at.
don't know. It smells. You think they were with the conglomerate?
Well, they had to have been. Who else is looking for us?
I don't know.
Fucking night sharks
I
don't
told
deal
you
up.
before. I told you before. There's plenty of people looking for me. I don't know about the rest of you.
Yeah, but they didn't say they were hippo people. Did you?
I told you before. Don't fucking tell people that.
I'm sorry,
It's on a
boss.
need-to-know basis.
I'm sorry, boss. Well, they weren't weird looking. They were just normal folk, right?
Wait, I've got a question. Did one of them have a hamster on his shoulder?
He's oddly specific.
I'm
me
an
what?
oddly specific person.
Give me 1
Clearly.
second.
The answer is no. The answer is no.
The question is, do I
But
want to
what's
say
Jimmy
yes?
Blades gonna say is the question
Dear,
on the table.
dear Blades, the true answer to you, to the question you were about to try and send to me, is no. But, despite-
No, I was gonna look at the thing, just the. But what does a hamster have to do with anything?
Cut from there.
Well, it could have.
Hold on. Cut from there. Ren, you are probably going to make it there a little after Gilbert has arrived because you walked all the way up to Red Wheel and then trolleyed out. So you're getting there later in the afternoon, probably well after the engagement we're having with the others is going
Okay.
on. When you arrive, Gilbert is present, but you didn't have a key, Kevin. So you're just kind of standing at Sayre's shop, waiting around. You probably would have tried the key, like the lock, if you'd had a thieves set, but you don't. But
All right.
Ren,
I'll have to check my. I think I actually do, but I've never showed it to anybody because I don't want them to know I know how to use that.
Oh
really.
boy.
fair enough. A lot of folks are walking by anyways, so it probably would have been conspicuous.
Yeah, I wouldn't pick it in daylight, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a set.
But
or
later in the
not.
day, sure enough, arriving on the scene is Ren Keenums.
Ooh, I do have a set, but like it's my secret set, so
Fair enough.
at least it was secret. Now you know.
Now I know.
All right, so I'd be sitting there, I'd be kind of hanging and saying, "Boy, I think somebody will ought to show up soon, eventually."
Ren does show up.
Ren,
Gilbert, what are you doing here?
well, I remembered I left something in Sarah's house. I left my bag, which had my communicator in it, so I'll have to grab it. And actually, what's going on with the house tonight? I could find another place to stay, but if like, if I could, I would just stay here. But not if the family's coming back or something. That would be very awkward.
Yeah, I don't think the family's coming back time soon. I spoke with Sarah's husband, and he's pretty, pretty upset about the whole thing, obviously. I wanted to come back here to check the place to make sure there was no more funny business, anyone that was looking for her or maybe looking for us. So I want to check inside.
Good idea. I'll back you up on that.
Okay. Cut from you guys real quick. Broxgar, you're sitting at the bar, and not too terribly long after, maybe a couple dozen or so minutes after Jack arrives on the scene, a woman enters in, who you haven't seen before, but you actually recognize from reputation. The woman's name is Amanda Sternblade, and she is the leader of Balin's Watch in Red Wheel. She walks over to Jack and she says, your elf friend has my confidence. If he needs any help getting back at them, those who did it, he just has to say the word. Jack kind of looks up and says, yeah. Hey, can you do me a favor, Amanda? I'm gonna head back home. Clean it up before the kids come back home. But I don't think I have the heart to tell them yet. And you can see he's a couple of cups in. You can see his eyes are already starting to well up as he's saying. He says, "Can you go tell them for me, or maybe." If you could just go up and make sure they're okay and tell, if you could just go up there and tell, Angren, old Pops, if he, can bring him on the day of Dan, this 6th day. Bring him back home on the day of Dan. And, I should be ready by then. I should be ready in a good 4 or 5 days. Can you do that for me? Amanda kind of shakes her head. I actually just came here to tell you on my way. I'm heading to the Association's college. I don't think I could. If you want, I could send somebody else to go talk to Angren, or I could lay it on a little thicker and hope that this dwarf across the bar will chime in and say he'll do it. But I'm not trying to be.
I'm doing that.
No, he's just shaking his head over there. He's like, no.
I'll tell the kid's mom's dead, dude.
Jack kind of goes, no, it's all right. I'll tell him, but I'm gonna go home first. I'm gonna head home. I just gotta see the house. I gotta bash out some of my anger. He gets up and kind of wobbles towards the door and opens it out up into the night air.
I'll follow him.
Okay. Are you trying to Yeah, but are you trying to follow him inconspicuously, not too like you don't want to be caught?
Yeah.
Okay, make a
I'm just trying to make sure he's alright, but I don't want to interact with him.
go ahead and make a dexterity stealth check. He's pretty sauced and isn't really paying attention. You're able to follow him, get onto the same trolley cars, and start heading that way. You'll arrive shortly after Ren does. So you guys are at the front door, Ren and Gilbert. And Ren, I believe you're picking the block to get in.
Yeah, could I just check the exterior of the house first, just to make sure there's no problems?
No
like
need, no
nobody's been
problems. Yeah, I would have mentioned it immediately to you.
there? All right, so
Yeah.
then let me try to see if I can get into the house.
No need to roll anything. You're very familiar with these locks over the past couple of days. You managed to pick into them pretty quickly and enter in, and everything's just where it was left. Sitting there on the floor is Gilbert's stuff.
All
Okay.
right. Thank you, Ren. Grab my stuff. You know what it's like to have some stuff disappear, so I would hate to have lost this. And
So, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say. So it's been a while. Basically all day. Have you heard how things went with Yen Lauren and Valette?
I didn't. After Sayer died, we kind of parted ways, and they went in their own direction with the car, with my car full of boom booms.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy.
Right.
And no one's heard from him since.
You're right. We
Right.
didn't hear any gigantic
So,
explosions, though.
You
So
know,
that wasn't good.
I would like to track it down though, because I just got that car. Yeah,
And
so
who knows
maybe
if
we can
it's
lock up
gonna-
and we can see if we can figure out how to track them down.
Sure, that sounds like a good idea. So I'd grab my stuff and we're headed out.
As you're heading towards the door, you see the shadow of a man standing in the door frame, kind of looking in at you. As the light kind of strikes his face, you can see that it's Jack.
Oh shit!
It's okay. So I'd open the door. I mean, I talk with him.
I know, but I feel bad. I didn't want to meet up with the
That's all right.
the
This is
husband of the fallen.
That's- destined to happen.
It's gonna be very sad and awkward.
Uh-huh.
He kind of looks like
Story makes you feel guilty.
Uh-huh.
he kind of looks like his eyes are kind of reddened and he's kind of blushing from alcohol content. Even the long ride from Red Wheel has not diminished that. But Brox, you've actually watched. He is right on the trolley car. He stopped at one point, just started smashing his fist into a brick wall, and continued on. But he's made it back home. He looks very serious. He kind of looks over at Gilbert and says, "Hey, little guy," and then kind of looks over to Ren. "Just getting your stuff."
Wanted to make sure everything's okay here. I hope you're all right.
Yeah. Best
Gilbert's
I
not
can.
gonna say anything, but he's gonna start crying.
Nice. Nice. Real tears?
But he's crying and he has his face down, and then he can avoid talking. So he's just gonna stand there right behind you, Ren,
Okay.
not say anything else.
Jack kind of looks at you guys and says, "Just hurry up and just get your things and leave me be."
Yeah, we're on our way out. And so we would just quickly leave.
And hey, Keen Eyes, if you do find any information about where the other ones got to, the other members of the Order, and you call on Balin's watch, I'll be there. Also, did you have anything from her at all? Any items or anything before she got taken?
I don't have anything from her.
Who took her sword?
Yeah.
Yeah,
if you-
This is
Lauren.
out of character.
If
Yeah,
you-
Lauren took it. Okay.
Well, if you come across any of that kind of stuff, just can you bring it back home now?
Absolutely.
Thanks. And if I need your help on anything, trying to find out any leads I've got, I know where your office is.
Just call.
Will do. kind
No
of
matter where you are.
leads you
matter
guys-
how far, Don't worry, baby.
leads you guys to the door, closes and locks the doors, and heads upstairs.
Ren.
Start
did
hearing
you s-
crashing sounds in the distance.
No,
Yeah,
you're
Ren, did you see his fist, Ren? It was
actually
all bloody.
after a specific thing happens in that bedroom. If you do, listen closely, you will hear the loud, just horrible, like agonized, wrenching cry of a man who just touched the very last piece of information and piece of his wife. Yeah, that's what you would hear. It's just horrid. But you guys head to Ren's office, right?
Sure, that sounds about the best we can do right now, as we're trying to figure out where we can locate the auto carriage and Lauren and.
Ren, before you guys even start moving, you see across the street a very familiar looking dwarf just kind of standing there watching. He
With his hoodie up.
he doesn't seem to notice that you see him. He's just kind of focused on the door, and then the sound of the anguished cry comes out, and he just kind of lowers his head and kind of shakes his head.
So let's talk to Broxcar then. Do you think he should be okay by himself? Do you want to come with us? We're trying to find the others, or do you want to stay?
I'll stay. Keep an eye on him. But this is where I'll be if you need me.
Okay.
Okay. You guys head off. Brox, do you just stay there and keep an eye on the door and just watch from afar, or?
Yeah, and listen intently.
Okay. Yeah, eventually it's just, it becomes quiet. You can't really hear a man sobbing into a pillow from outside.
Oh,
And,
that's so sad.
I was just gonna catch up with the other guys. I don't want to play suicide bomb.
He could hang himself too, and you'd just be the asshole watching the door. His body's riggered in the morning when the rest of us come back, and it's like, didn't hear him.
I'm not doing any good out here.
The worst part is he leaves and the Adams come and kill Jack.
okay, you're able to catch up with them. They actually notice that you start to tail after them, and they kind of slow to let you catch up.
Yeah, he'll be alright.
Yeah.
Anything you guys want to discuss before you get to Ren's office?
I don't think I can
Wow.
face. I don't think I can face that. It's a tragedy what happened. I heard him
Yeah.
talk. I heard him talking in the bar. He has no idea how to tell it. It's not good.
No, that's not good.
Okay. You get into the office at about, pretty late in the day. The sun is kind of going down, but it's still got that nice kind of, bright orangey purple colors to it. You open and you do see your desk as normal. Nothing broken, nothing stolen, but you do hear the sounds from behind the wall of, metal on metal and clinging and clanging.
Right, so that must be Effie doing her thing.
That's right.
So I would want to just check in with her while the others stayed in the other room.
Yep. She says, I got something finished for you, boss. And she reaches over to the side of the desk, kind of walks over to it on her stilts, grabs this device, and kind of hands it off to you. It seems like it's some sort of bracer of some sort. It's a pretty standard issue amongst the law enforcement, especially the patrolmen. It's just a grappler, but it should be helpful.
Should be what?
Should be helpful.
Okay. So maybe later on you can tell me how that worked.
No need. I've got you already.
All right. Sweet.
Yep, and the others kind of off into the front. What are you guys doing?
That is a good question. Yeah. It's kind of sad times. I guess I would kind of peruse a little bit around his office, see if he left out any documents that were important. But I'd definitely like look at him very nonchalantly, you know.
The desk is pretty high in this office, so nonchalantly is really not an option for a spying gnome.
Lame.
Yeah, sorry, stop being short.
I was perfect height for like a grieving husband to punch too, which is why I was very careful there.
Or kick.
With his bloody fist.
Or kick. Don't kick the Gilbert.
Or kick, you're right. Kick would have been real bad.
Yeah, just punch right across the room. But that said, Brox, anything from you?
Nah.
Okay. Ren starts to walk into the office. Are you sitting down at your desk or kind of moving somewhere else in your office? Ren?
Well, I'm sure I'd sit at the desk, but what the idea would be to talk with the others about a plan to try to find Yen Lauren and Val.
Yeah, and as far as meditation for you, I mean, in a very suburban dad kind of mode, you'd probably just trance in your office seat, and then while working, just stop for like 4 hours and just reflect on the Feywild, and then snap back to work. So you're basically set up where you're going to camp out.
Okay.
Do you have a cot or anything?
Yeah, there's a room in the back that you can crash in.
I appreciate it.
Looks to Gilbert as well. Although I'm sure, as a noble person, you have far more stately.
Oh no, don't worry. It's okay. I'm sure it'll be fine. I can sleep in your place, and you can just sleep at the cot or wherever you need to.
As you guys are
I'll be fine.
passing back and forth,
He sleeps in the chair.
as you guys are
He
basically,
sleeps in the chair.
he doesn't
Yeah,
sleep.
man.
He's not gonna be
He doesn't
comfortable if
sleep.
He's sitting on his lap.
He doesn't sleep. Why would he need a bed?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Francie.
Oh, you're right. He's an elf.
Right.
Damn.
As you
Yeah,
guys are
right over my little head.
As you guys are passing back and forth, Effie comes out of the back room. Looks like she was cleaning up when you walked in last time, and she's kind of got her little coat on, and her face is a little bit cleaner than it was. Probably rubbed it down with a rag or something. And she kind of looks over to you, boss, and she says, "Oh, right. I forgot to tell you too. There is a note on the desk for you from some fellow named Kerr Gosler." All right. Starts heading towards the door, and she kind of gives Gilbert a look, like, and then walks past him at the door.
I'm gonna give her a look back,
Ooh,
like
maybe.
No,
I don't
no, no.
think that was the kind
No,
of
no,
look
no,
that-
no, 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 not like
It
that.
was the kind of look.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't. No, because if you recall, that's not the way that she operates.
That's okay. She can change. You know?
No,
You can hope,
Who
right?
not really. She does give you a look like
Not really.
kind of like a not. I didn't say it with enough like like you again and exits.
Okay, sure.
Ren says, I think she thinks you look like the other Kirk Osler.
I don't know.
Mid-
I
the
don't think we
mid-year.
do. I think we look totally different. Anyways,
You've never seen him.
yeah. Wait, I thought I had heard a description of him though. No, wait, I did see him one
Yeah,
time
you
from a
guys saw.
distance.
When he first got to the city.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. At Sidney Wellenbart's house from a distance. Him and some
Correct.
other jackass. I don't remember who the other guy was, but
Yeah.
Yeah, some guy who looked like Razig in armor, and some guy who looked like a strange fellow with a weird mask. Yeah, and then you did see Kirk Gosler appear. That is right.
That's right. So, anyways, I'm really interested in what this letter from probably my Western Kurgosler relative says.
Yeah, let's read
Trying
it.
You to kill me.
Sure.
Say no.
It's actually written in Effie's hand, and it says, according to the conglomerate and the Mazier named Kerr Gosler, who sent a messenger here, all interactions with the Enforcer 87 should be stopped, and any information regarding the Enforcer should be brought forward to the conglomerate's attention.
Oh.
And she has kind of a chicken scratchy kind of handwriting, but it's in Elvish, so you've worked with her long enough. It makes sense to you, even though she writes backwards and just kind of blurs letters together. If you've ever seen someone who works at like a medical provider's office write, that's what I'm talking about. It's just a damn mess.
You know what the nice thing about having a relative who's a real jerk like that is?
What's that, Gilbert?
That you will not be the most hated Kurgosler around if you have a relative who's a jerk like that. Like, he's taking all the hate, so that's kind of good for me in some ways.
Can only hope, yeah.
we can hope.
But on the opposite side, it's that trickle down hateonomics, you know. So like, you weren't getting any hate, but because he has so much hate, it trickles down to you.
So we'll all be winning by the end. We're all
Right.
winning. I'm gonna be sick of winning by the end of this. Oh gosh, I really thought that was gonna be something about me in that. Like, if
Oh,
you
no,
come
no, no,
across
no,
this
no,
guy,
no.
kill him.
It's not all about you, Gilbert.
Yeah, thank
I
goodness.
know you're noble and all, but it's not all about you.
Oh,
What are you talking about? It's all about me. It's all about I. It's all about number one.
Cut from you guys back to the fun times.
fun time, guys.
So, where you left off, just pick up from there.
What does a hamster have with it?
Wait, what did you say, Tim? I couldn't hear that.
What does a hamster have to do with anything? That is exactly where we left
That
off.
is exact. That is.
Did
Well-
one of them have a hamster?
No.
But I don't say that yet. I just ask him what a hamster. Anything.
If there is a hamster, it has everything to do with it. If there's not, it has nothing to do with it.
You're
Fascinating.
saying it doesn't quite really matter if there's a hamster or not.
Oh no, it does. But if there isn't a hamster, it doesn't matter.
This guy's off his fucking nut, by the way.
Yep.
Oh man.
I look at Ian Lauren and shrug. So, what's next?
I suppose there was no hamster, so this does not matter. Now moving on to matters.
Wait, moving on
Mr.
to
Sam,
You said you killed the rat bitch.
this is
You didn't do it
true.
alone.
There were others.
I want to meet all of them.
Well, I
And-
think before we do any introductions of the sort, perhaps we should work out payment for our delivery.
There wasn't any payment involved.
No,
Yeah, I don't remember any payment at all.
no. Neither does Yen Lauren. There was no payment.
The Goliath kind of looks to Yen Lauren in his bright, very pimpish colors and says, "Maybe you should keep your brigands in check."
In check, in mate. They're still stupid.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Don't worry about it. It's a little over your head. I understood exactly what you meant with that, though. And it's true. I
Yeah,
mean,
but-
honestly, just look at Winston. And I would like to say, I don't try to, like, hide the fact that I'm pointing to Winston. I just point at Winston.
He doesn't seem to care. It doesn't, or understand what's happening. But as you're kind of looking at the situation, Yen Lauren, you hear him say the term. It's over his head, and you have to kind of scroll up to see like how that would even be possible. It's an interesting turn of phrase.
It's a bunch of wordplay. I'm so excited.
God.
This is
So
this
anyway,
is
as I said,
this is good Twitch content right here.
these other people that helped you kill her, this Lady Karloff, if that's her real name,
Yes.
I'd like to meet them.
Why?
Why? Okay, first of all, I have been trying to convince people that she's some sort of were-rat for the past, like, I don't know, 2 years, and no one's been listening to me. And finally, someone takes her out.
Hey, I believe you, boss.
You don't count, Winston.
All right.
I've been trying to tell people for the past 2 years, and besides Winston, who doesn't count, nobody's been listening to me. And finally, someone actually does something about it, and I'd like to actually meet those people and see, like, you know, I want to know more. I want to hear the whole story from everyone's perspective and see if there might be something else that, I don't know, like, someone might have picked up on that they don't even know themselves that they picked up on.
This sounds like paranoid delusion.
It's
I like.
Paranoid delusion.
I like.
the
Come. We introduce you to friends if you follow.
Right. Let's do that. Winston, you stay here. Wait for everyone else to get back. If they don't get back, call me.
You got it. And he says, "Wait, did you pick up the device? I didn't get one."
Well, there's got to be one around here somewhere. It's a warehouse.
Okay, do you have one?
I think I have one.
Okay.
If I don't, come and find me.
All right. Where are you guys going?
Where are we going?
Mr. Kenai's office. He shall show up there eventually.
Peter probably
Go to
knows where
Mr.
it's at.
K9's office.
Yeah, Peter probably knows
Yeah,
where it's
he
at.
probably will. Yeah.
How you
Where
get
was it?
there if they not come back?
Oh shit,
This
that's,
seems self-defeating.
you're right. I was supposed to come to you if they...
Winston, look. Winston,
What?
look down.
Yeah,
You see those two things called legs that you have?
okay.
You can walk to a trolley and get on that. You should have enough money to take a trolley to this person's place.
You mean this? And he pulls out his bag of coin, which is just like full to the brim. You can see like a platinum piece
Winston,
peeking out the top.
I've told you before, don't pull out your wallet in front of guests.
Oh, I'm sorry. He puts it away.
But yes, that is what I'm talking about.
Okay. And the trolley people should know where to go?
Okay, so what part of the city is this in?
He said Ren Kenai's office. He looks
Right,
like a...
I don't know if the trolleyman will know that.
Well, he looks like a Spellmother, so I'm guessing it's in Spellmoth.
He's
Right, so
through.
go to Spellmoth and walk around and eventually you'll find me.
Okay.
It's not a huge part of town.
For a small fee, I can describe what the office looks like and how to get there from here.
That's really not going to help me at all.
There's small.
He kind of looks... He kind of...
Yeah.
When he says it, you understand that he means to say, he's not going to remember that. He looks at Yenlorn. Yeah, he looks like a
That's
Spellmother.
fair.
And then he kind of points to Tim, Jimmy Blades, and he says, and that guy folds like a night shark. So, yeah, they're definitely from Spellmoth. I'm pretty sure the trolley guy will know where it's at.
Just ask for the private eye's office.
You got it. Alright, you guys head out?
Yep.
Okay. Let's go ahead and say the other three. You have about, 10, maybe 20 minutes of content to fill if you want, if you have anything to exchange between each other, or if you want to get to certain activities while they're in the office.
I would probably want to make sure that Gilbert and Brox knew about my conversation with Amanda Sternblade, and how Balin's watch seems like they might be willing to help us if we need it.
Excellent.
Help us in fighting the atoms.
Say again?
Help us in which way for fighting the atoms?
Well, I think our ultimate goal is to try to kind of take a little bit of power from the conglomerate to get the different factions working together. But maybe that's something we can talk about when we're all together.
Gilbert, are you getting
Yeah.
your device set up so you can start plugging away at that, or?
Get my what set up?
Your device.
Oh yeah, my device. Okay, my device. Aha. I'm gonna whip that device out and start making it work.
Why has it got to be weird, man?
It's gotta be weird. I open up a drawer of my desk and I put like a little towel in there and I say, Gilbert, you can sleep there.
Adorable.
Thanks. No, but what I do want to mention to Ren actually, since I think
Yeah,
I know
get to it.
Boxcar knows already since he went with me. I wanted to mention to him about how I think I might have already told you this, but just in case I didn't. I'm putting in paperwork right now to like state my claim for being the rightful heir of Sydney Wellenbart, and so I think in a way there's going to be some people looking for me, especially the other Kurt Gosler once he finds out, because I'll be taking it from him, which I'm sure he has enough of other power, but he's probably not going to be too happy about it. So pretty soon there's going to be somebody sending you a letter there to tell you to look for me, and if you find him, tell him. So just want to let you know I'm going to go over here in the side of your office here and send some messages back home and get as much information as I can that I can use to support my claim. Sound good?
Yeah, so are you saying then that the letter that we received about not interacting with 87, we really shouldn't take that seriously, right? I hope that's what you.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. And I was surprised it didn't say me on, which is, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm not surprised. Like, you can understand why 87, they probably think she went rogue something, or, you know, they know maybe she was helping, you know, she was helping the old Magier. So anyways, you know that. So
Mhm.
yeah. All right. So I'm going to go over to the corner and then start typing up some messages on my long distance communicator and stuff, and
Okay.
doing that, waiting for if you know, anybody else shows up.
Brock, if you're kind of just twiddling your thumbs and like looking around for somewhere to kind of relax, they do have a cot in the back, but you also notice that the gnome Effie's stuff is kind of still out and about, not too terribly cleaned up, and it does look like she has a very expansive collection of tools here. Some old gnomish, some Samaldric style tools, a lot of Tinker's just devices, and a lot of kit here. You think, like, just kind of looking at the situation, you could do a lot with the material that's present. I mean, it's almost on par with possibly with the association's craft room.
Well, I'm gonna fiddle around and try to whip up some ammo.
Okay. Yeah, you do find, you know, brass cartridges from older pieces. It looks like they're just kind of pieces she set aside. Looks like she's taken the primers out, and it looks like she's set up a couple of them to kind of function as gearworks, which is a really interesting perspective for a cartridge, kind of turning the brassing into something she could implement inside of a smaller working device. But yeah, you're able to find quite a few of those, reload them with primers, and kind of set them to ammunition, no problem.
Is there anything, like her devices, her little gadgets and stuff, is there anything in particular it looks like she's working on right now?
As a matter of fact, there is. It looks like she has a device very similar in kind to one that you saw on Sayer's person. I don't know if you ever saw it activated, but basically it was it was a pauldron that had an automated shield device that would come out and kind of intercede and block attacks for its short duration.
I'm gonna mess around with that, see like where she's at, and process, see if there's anything I can do to maybe help her along.
Okay, go ahead and make a research check.
Do it. That's my thing.
If he rolls a 1, it breaks.
No. He's just researching.
Yeah, you kind of put a little bit of trouble in there, you know, a little bit of danger.
So,
Yeah, it's history with advantage.
Yeah.
I believe so. 22.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
So, toying with the device, messing with these, you know, pieces here, kind of set aside your ammunition, kind of look at this device kind of hanging there and start kind of piecing it together. Ren, you do hear that someone is messing around with stuff in the back room.
I would just peek my head in and sort of look at Brock's and nod my head. Yeah, Effie's working on that for me. Any help would be
She's brilliant, lad. She really knows her stuff.
I don't know what I'd do without her.
If you actually spend like 10 minutes looking it over, you figure out exactly how the device works, first off, and how it's activated, and you also know exactly what needs to be done to set it to rights. She seems to be having a problem with the reloading of the device, and that's where the main problem is. It'll fire, but the problem is it doesn't. It just kind of lays out, like for a person having a metal rod kind of fly out and block weapons, you know, freely for a moment is kind of a benefit, especially when it's automated and, you know, set up to do that. But having that same kind of thing kind of just stay out instead of resetting itself back in the pauldron is a problem.
Yeah.
But you know exactly what needs to be done to fix it. You can elect to do so. No extra roll required.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you finalize this auto shield. There's now a functioning auto shield in Effie's accoutrement there. It does look like it needs to be worn by somebody who is proficient with at least medium armor. Doesn't look like it will attach to a lighter armor.
Ring mail. Is that medium?
At least medium, yeah.
Right. I want to attach it to my ring mail. Can I do that?
Yeah,
Just to try it out. See if, they gotta test the product.
sure. Yeah, and if you fire it, basically what happens is it kind of brings out a device that kind of spins for a moment and kind of stops because it seems to be kind of prepared to connect with something that would come at you. But since there's no blades or blows coming towards you, it doesn't do anything. And after a few moments of whirring, about 6 seconds, it snaps back into the pauldron.
Very cool. I'm not gonna steal it from that, but I'll leave it there for me.
Yeah. I mean, you know that the person she was building it for doesn't wear heavier armor, wears very light armor. So functionally, it doesn't. You don't think it's going to be good for him, like just paying attention to it. But obviously, that doesn't entitle you to it or anything.
I might talk to her about it. Maybe teach her a thing or two.
Okay. And the auto shield device handout just got
She'll
popped
be
up. On your
giving me
screen.
looks, Gilbert.
What'd you say?
I said she'll be giving me little look.
Yeah, she's gonna give you the looks. I had a feeling she liked.
As we pointed out earlier, she is a lesbian. She has a companion.
Hey, why do you have to go and make labels?
I'm just letting you know this was already called out in an earlier session.
I know why we're joking about it.
That's
We're just joking.
you. All right, piggy,
Right?
piggy. Anywho's, you dirty dogs. But the auto shield seems to be functional, and your message goes through Gilbert, and you receive a reply. And Ren, you're kind of just sitting there, kind of thinking to yourself, and you see lights kind of come through the window, and you can see the auto carriage kind of, because you guys were going to Ren's office, right?
Yeah, also, John, I would like to say, during the entire trip, I am talking about how the conglomerate is using airships to lace the air with a chemical that is basically trying to make everyone in the area more susceptible to magical powers.
Are you a
John,
conspiracy theorist?
on a scale of 0
a
to
conspiracy
10, how
theorist.
much BS is that?
You
Or does
do-
it break the...
So you do know that there are airships that are used by the conglomerate, by the elves, by the association, and they kind of move less frequently than boats do, but still pretty frequently. The main airspaces for these airships are the conglomerate tower. At certain points in its height, it does have docks for these ships. The Association of Tal Namri has a number of landing bays for the airships. And there are a couple of docks in the noble section, specifically the Isles, just south of Old Rostigar's capital building, that function as landing ports for those airships. They're not the airships of old. They're not elemental-bound devices. The conglomerate has given way to those devices after a large amount of destruction was wreaked during the 490s. But these devices, are typically elevated into the sky, much like a Zeppelin would be, or with a number of propellers. To your knowledge, they aren't dropping chemicals or some sort of magical dust or whatever he said on the people, the populace.
I make a comment that would
But
be kind
on the other hand, you also didn't think witch hunters had weird, strange green liquids and were able to, or would kill Magiers to supersede them with other Magiers. So
Yeah. I make the comment, kind of odd if they would do something like that. Seems like they'd be breaking their own rules.
Well, of course they're breaking their own rules. I mean, honestly, what do you think that they're doing out there? I can tell you, the conglomerate, there's so many things that they're doing that are breaking their own rules. I mean, first of all, they're just trying to contain magic for themselves, basically, and what they're giving us is a perverted, just foul, messy thing. They're not they're not letting the world access actual true magic. They're just trying to give us something that's a facade.
It was at this moment Valette knew she was at the exact polar opposite of where she started in this campaign.
Yeah, really. Strange bedfellows, right?
I love the conglomerate. They're the best. I'm in a car with the Nutter. Anywho, you guys arrive at the office. Am I a cat? But yeah, you guys arrive at the office.
All right.
So this new character, what is your character's name, Matt?
Well, he hasn't introduced himself yet. He hasn't introduced himself yet.
Okay.
They haven't even
okay,
come in
okay.
the office yet.
Okay, I thought he's coming in. I just want to see what he's dressed like. Got it.
He put his thing up on roll 20.
Yeah, it should be in your
So
dramatis
take your-
personae handouts.
So he's
under
got a
player characters.
idealist outfit.
He probably isn't displaying his skull mask or anything, and he's the idealist that you have seen in the past typically wear black long robes. He's a bit more street dressed, dirty brown robes, kind of a poncho really, like just kind of heavy and dirty clothes, kind of a scrawny look to him. Besides that, and like he said, dirty green hair, disheveled, kind of a glint in his eye.
Kind of person that Ren would have arrested in the past.
Yeah. Well, he walks in
Racist.
with Blades,
Profiling.
Jimmy Blades, and Yen Lauren.
John, just really quickly, looking around the room, what can I tell about these people?
So walking in, like the window of the door tells you that the person inside's name is Ren Keeneyes, or at least one of them is. Private Investigator Ren Keeneyes. Name sounds like it might be a halfling or a human who's didn't have a parent. And then in looking at the office, the person who designed this office is a very Spartan sensibly, kind of just focused on functionality, not so much grandeur. Probably not too much in the way of like displays of any kind of accolades or anything to that effect. Just very bare bones and simple. The desk is neat. There are a couple of papers out on it, and the person sitting at the desk is an elf. And you can kind of hear tinkering in the back. Not so much hammer work, but tinkering hammer work. And Blades, where would you be? Wait, no, you're entering in. Sorry, you're entering in. My brain did a fart.
Yeah.
Gilbert, where would you be?
I would probably be somewhere across from the desk,
Okay.
talking to Ren. Like,
Yep, and he's probably sitting not too far away from a very large, long communication device, which communication devices that you guys are aware of are basically like walkie-talkies, hand radios, okay? The long-range communication device is more like, what are those things?
Morse code.
But what's the device?
Telegraph.
Telegraph.
yeah, telegram.
So I see there's an elf at the desk.
Correct. Wearing...
I lean over towards Yen Lauren and say, like, point at him and say, so wait, who's that at the desk?
This is man you come meet. Is Ren.
He's an elf.
You're human.
Yes.
What game we play?
Don't you know all elves are part of the conglomerate? They're trying to get us.
Is
It's a
not
conspiracy. No, they are part
Sorry.
of this like new world functionality that they're trying to take over.
Oh, by the way, you can
Wait
hear
until
this.
he hears the Blue Gnome's last name is Kugazla.
I don't get that.
The new Magia. Last name Kugazla.
You didn't
The
know
both
that.
Blue Gnomes.
I just want to look very suspiciously at all the people that I'm in this room by myself with.
Okay, yeah.
So glad you could join us.
Ren, the whispering wasn't quiet enough to elude your elder ears, by the way.
Okay.
So
I
you
give-
heard
I give
everything
a
he
look-
just said.
I give a look to Yen Lorne and like, do you want me to take this even further? Like,
No, he's fine. Let man be racist. He'll
Like-
learn later.
no, like, and standing behind Sam, I sort of slightly pull out my mask, like, and sort of raise an eyebrow.
Figure out.
So you
No.
you would also note,
Don't you fuck me right now.
Keen Eyes, you would also note, based on your namesake, that he, the man that just entered in with these people, your friends, is wearing a mask on his belt. In the picture, it's pretty plainly seen, but in current state, it's actually hiding underneath his robes. But again, you see him turning and moving, you can actually see it, and it does look like it's an idealist's mask.
John, I would like to cast my first spell of this campaign.
Sure.
I'm just going to whisper it to you because I don't want them to know what's going on right now if I can avoid it.
Sure.
I'm paying so much attention to this new person right now, John.
Oh yeah, no,
No,
that's
absolutely.
perfectly fine.
Zone
I
of
still want
truth.
to.
Where you whisper? Oh, here we go.
New character is going to be carving Nazi symbols on people's
Okay.
foreheads.
DC is 14.
Gotcha.
For who?
Doing it against my passive is for.
Not worried about it.
Okay. So idly, the new man kind of brings out a copper coin, kind of rolls it across his fingertips, and kind of plays with it with his hands, making very specific-looking gestures. Kind of flips it and then catches it, and he kind of mutters something to himself, but the language isn't familiar. At that point, is your target Andy?
Yeah, I'm just sort of like, I'm not trying to necessarily go the full way right now. I'm just seeing like, doing the first part where I'm just sort of like trying to figure out entirely what's like
Got it.
just immediate.
Yeah. So that's still going to require a wisdom saving throw from Ren. And silence from Tim.
Am I within? Do I get a benefit from being nearby Gilbert?
No.
Is that a thing?
Yeah,
he's-
there should be.
That's the
Not valid.
previous campaign, Andy.
That's
There should be a benefit just
Sorry.
for being next to me,
Because he's so
like
cute.
an awesome effect.
I don't know. This is a
15.
wisdom saving throw. I think there might be a detriment to being near Gilbert.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, I'm the wisest one of all of us. Maybe
see
not
here.
in real life, but in poker. Actually, the people at
Oh,
home
Matt.
only see a 16, but I actually have an 18.
Okay, you got a 15.
That's-
That's fine.
Yeah.
You do feel something. You don't know the source of it. It's very, very just minute. Real quick, Matt, roll me an Arcana check.
Wrong thing.
You can
Arcana, what? Say incarnate.
Yeah. that's fine.
14.
Okay, so yeah, you don't shit the bed and kind of like telegraph everything, like right in front of them. Basically, you just roll a coin across your fingers, make some hand gestures, muddle some words. Yen Lauren and Valette can make an Arcana check, a Wisdom Arcana check, to see if you catch anything there. And I've set the DC.
22.
Okay.
Nice.
I got a 21.
Okay. Yep. I'm looking at your disadvantage numbers, obviously. So,
Alright, 14.
Yen Lauren, you're pretty sure he cast a spell. You're pretty certain that Sam just cast a spell, but from the looks of it, it doesn't look like it was a hostile spell. It looks like it was some sort of divining spell. So nothing to kind of set you off ease off the bat.
Fair enough. I'll allow it.
Okay. But yeah, that being done on the sly, Bren, you do feel something kind of invade your head, but whatever it was, it might have just been kind of a suspicious thought or something kind of just And it could have been something that was just, I don't know, something you were thinking about, something that kind of took your attention for a second. That said, that awkward moment over. There's a moment of silence after he mutters some weird words.
Wait, he never really identified himself to us.
No one asked him his name.
Yeah, seriously,
Who's
come
the
on,
new
guys.
guy's name?
Who's your friend, Yen Lauren?
Ah, this is Sam. He man of short name. I like this about him.
How did you meet Sam?
He was man who get the things from the guys that we help get the stuff from before we do the things. You know.
I love it.
I love that description. So Ren would look towards Sam's mask that's sort of half hidden on the belt on his waist, and then look toward Valette and say, interesting times.
So tell me, is it true? Did you kill her?
He
And I
means
was like, I don't say any other
he
explanation.
means rat lady in the basement. The lady
Karloff?
Count Karloff, yes.
Something?
Karloff, Horkalov. This old lady. He knows.
Yeah,
He mean old lady. We killed.
So Ren would reach into his jacket and pull out a little piece of the
That's
the
so
skin
creepy.
that he kept. Yeah,
Wait,
that's
what?
right.
You're
What
like
did
a
you keep?
killer.
A
It's-
piece of
it's-
dried
it's
flesh
the-
from one of the golems.
Oh. So what was she doing with them anyway? Like, I thought she was feeding them, like, to something that she kept in the bottom of her house. Something evil.
We think there's something down there too, but we were prevented from investigating further.
Well, shouldn't we go back and investigate some more, just in case there was anything suspicious? I mean, it's not like you would know anything about that, would you, Mr. Ren Keen Eyes?
So what's your interest in going back there, sir?
My interest in going back there is to make sure that everything is above board. If you know what I'm saying, Mr.
Oh, so-
Ren Keen Eyes.
So Ren points to
I
his
have
badge and says,
problem with
"So you're a person-"
statements. He can't be above board. We're talking about basement. This absurd premise. We already failed.
Are you a man of the law yourself, Sam?
I'm a man of, let's say, natural law.
Natural law.
Not entirely what you might agree with,
This is
but
already magic.
I want to make sure that everyone gets their fair share.
Fair share of
Exactly
what?
you mean. Yeah, really.
What do you mean, fair share of what? Fair share of the truth, obviously.
You seem like you're very confident in your version of the truth, Sam.
I don't.
Oh, I mean, that
Does
isn't
not
the
make
truth.
sense to Yen Lauren. Is you give little pieces of truth to all of us so nobody know real thing, or does everybody know everything? It's very confusing the words you choose to use.
It's not confusing at all. Listen, obviously, this one knows what I'm talking about, and I point at Ren when I'm saying that the conglomerate is holding all the cards and they're not showing anything about it.
So we go look in basement?
Yes, because I'm sure that they probably missed something there.
Seem like mistake we make in 2004, but we go for it.
Oh man.
So, Ren would would want to take a moment to speak with Valette in private. So, in the other room, in the Tinkerer's room where Brox is.
Gilbert would follow him.
No. You stay here with our new friend and keep him. Maybe you can tell him the story of your lost inheritance. That'll take a while.
That'll take a while. Gosh. Man, do you see
It's
that?
true for little men, he have a lot to say.
Okay.
It's foremost on your mind. It's okay.
So real quick,
Okay, I do have something to talk to him about, actually. Guess what I'm going to ask you about?
oh
do you
no,
remember-
I'm 100% on
Do
board.
you remember the Pendergraph? Do you remember Isidore Pendergraph? Did you ever meet that guy?
You recognize the name.
Sam?
I recognize the name.
You exactly remember. I mean, do you recall who he is? Out of character.
Off the top of my head.
Isidore was
First guy.
the noble that was going to funnel, who wanted to funnel idealists, wizards
that guy.
out. Yeah, the guy who got caught and killed.
I mean, it sounds familiar.
Sounds familiar.
Catherine, you guys real quick. Let's deal with Ren and Valette
Yeah,
and Brox
we'll
in the
deal
back
with
room.
Yeah.
But that we're out there talking about Isidore.
As you're working, Brox, in walks Ren and Valette, kind of give you a look, and then kind of look like they're trying to keep to themselves.
Right. So Ren would lean into Valette and say, and show basically show her the note.
You recall what the note said, yeah. Tim?
Yeah. Don't associate with me anymore.
Don't
Yeah.
associate with you. Yeah. And so we're in a really weird situation here, Valette. Not Jimmy Blades, but Valette. And now you bring an idealist here. What's going on?
I did not. It was Yen Lauren's idea to introduce him to the group.
You gotta speak up. You're too far away from your
Oh,
mic.
even though it's right here! You do gotta speak up though.
Put it closer.
And again, I look like Jimmy Blades, but I'm talking as Valette right. For the weird.
I don't know, Brox, have you seen this kind of shit happen yet?
What do you mean?
Have you seen Valette, like, be Jimmy Blades and vice versa? Has that been revealed to you?
I mean, it would have had.
Fox was there for some of it, yeah.
It
Yeah,
would've
okay.
had-
Okay. Just making sure.
I don't think I ever broke character in front of him.
Okay. That makes
But-
sense. But yeah.
And he might have known that I was playing a character, but never actually had the whatever.
Yeah, got it.
I didn't bring. It was Yen Lauren's idea to introduce him to the group.
That's fine. That's fine. I think we need to really figure out what our plan is going to be.
He may be a way to get the idealists on board if he mount some kind of resistance.
And then Ren would quickly explain what he learned from Amanda Sternblade
Before you
about
start that sentence,
Valen's.
make a wisdom perception check.
24 critical
Oh, that's
success.
exactly what I wanted. As you're talking to him, before you start to finish your sentence, you see Valette's eyes change color just slightly. If you were not
What?
who you were, you would not be able to detect it. But what you immediately start to realize is you've seen this happen before, but it was subconscious and you didn't even really mention it or note it as important. But the last time you saw it happen is when you started to walk up towards Razig.
Is that a thing about being tracked?
You're pretty sure the last time you saw his eyes flash like that is when you went to go meet with Razig right before he was killed by Biken.
So Bren's gonna stop talking right there, and just change the subject. Holy shit.
What do you change the subject to?
Yeah, or Brox. Oh, look at this thing. This might be helpful to you. And he was gonna look at the auto shield that.
Brock suddenly like afforded attention. Kind of goes, what the fuck are you guys want?
Can I make an insight check as to do I pick up on his dress, catch the cut of his jib, or do I like actually say, "What are you doing?"
I'd say it would have to be something he'd voiced or tried to like pantomime to you or write. But either one of those methods is going to rely on either audio or visual.
Okay. I. What are you talking?
Can you say that again?
What are you talking? Brox was doing his own thing.
Oh no, I wanted to show you this really cool weapon. It might be helpful to you.
And with that crit, Bren, another thing you're noticing is that they probably know what they're looking out of. and they probably know who they delivered the message you were initially talking about. If you want to put one and one together, are you figuring out what I'm telling you?
I'm having a little trouble with that.
They told you not
So
to
you
do
say
something, and you have to be doing that thing right now.
They said not to associate with Valette, and I'm doing that
For
thing
them,
right now.
for them to be I mean, if they are seeing you through those eyes, as
So
you,
basically, I'm fucking with the conglomerate right now.
you're pretty sure that they are pretty well aware of your current situation. Real quick though,
Right.
as that conversation begins, Matt, I need you to make an Arcana Wisdom check right now, and you have advantage for this check.
13, best I can do apparently.
Okay. Still good enough. You feel a strange aura, as if something's kind of focusing in on this house. And basically, it's moments like these where tinfoil hats come out and get put on heads. You're pretty sure it's
Right.
focusing on the back room.
What's in the back room? I just look at Gilbert and say that.
As you move to the back room, or just are you waiting?
I'm moving to the back room as I say
Okay.
that. Like,
Yeah.
what's in the back room?
Whatever conversation,
I don't fucking know. I'm
It's a
going
workshop.
too.
whatever conversation
workshop.
you were in about Isidore, it stops. It terminates as he kind of starts moving towards the back room. What's in the back room? As he comes into the room. You two are still talking and now kind of trying to idly talk about Broxgar, and this creepy man walks into the room,
Can I help you?
What
looking
happened?
around.
What's going on? Something happened here. Something
how
happened.
long-
There's
how
something
long
strange
does
that just happened here.
Ren
How long
started
does it-
acting strange. We were having a conversation, now keeps trying to change subjects.
Throwing me under the bus.
Hey, John,
I
how long
just
does it take for me to
instantly
notice the
hone
idealist
in-
is masked?
Make a perception check.
I got 8.
You don't notice it. It's under his poncho.
I instantly hone in on Ren and say, "What did you see?"
And he starts snapping his finger, probably like trying to hasten the situation. And to your knowledge, it takes about a minute for it to fully activate.
To whose knowledge?
I'm talking to
To
Matt, not
Sam's?
to you.
Got it.
Yeah, tell me. What did you see? Come on. What did you see? Something happened here. Something happened bad. What happened?
What are you perceiving?
Something happened here. I don't know what happened, but something happened here.
There's
What
all
happened?
kinds
What
of
did you see?
things happening here.
Did you see something, Mr. Elf?
You feel like time is wasting.
Did you see something strange and weird that happened suddenly in the past minute?
Ren,
Yes,
this
actually,
is.
I did.
What
Please
did
tell
you
us.
see?
I'm gonna look at. So Yin Lauren is now in on the conversation.
Yes, I'm
Yeah, you're
concerned because like this dude. This is
I don't know
just
who
like
this
let's
crazy
fucking
guy
follow
is.
this for a second.
All right.
That's fine. He's not doing anything. But like, did you see something? Yes or no? Answer the fucking question.
So if
If
Yin
it's
Lauren's
no,
doing
then
that,
no. Stop like bullshitting around.
then I'm
like,
gonna say yes. I
Yin
noticed
Lauren.
something, and yeah, something's
What
weird
did you
with. And I
see?
point to Valette. Something's not right with Valette.
What are you talking
What
about?
is Valette?
As you turn and look at her, and Jimmy Blade speaks in a woman's soft voice, you immediately realize that she is not who she says she is, and she has to be something else.
Uh-oh.
What do you do in response to that? You have about 10 seconds.
I start fucking casting a spell.
Okay.
Which
You
one?
know what spell I cast, and I'm casting it on the thing that I'm not sure what it is.
Make an Arcana check if you want to know what spell he's casting.
Intelligence.
Yes, please.
All right. Straight intelligence. I got a 5. No clue. Do I at least know the motions of a spell?
Oh,
You know it's a
wow.
spell that he's casting, yeah.
I start to draw my sword.
Okay. Before you
Oh
get
my
it out,
God.
So think about that.
before you guys get the spell, or before you guys get the swords out, the spell is cast, and basically the sweat that started to beat up on Samuel's face kind of stops, and it kind of, as you realize that you've placed the false aura over him, quickly enough that he will not be able to act as the source point for those eyes. And the other thing you're noticing too, as you're finishing the spell and looking at him, you figure out what he is without him revealing what he is.
Yeah.
He's not a he, he's a her,
Right.
and you're pretty sure she is not a real she. She is a construct.
Right. And I just sort of turn to like Yenlord and say, "You have an Undaunted with you, and you're not like keeping their eyes covered or anything. You do realize that's mad."
And why is this? This I do not know much about.
The conglomerate can see through the Undaunted's eyes. You have to like keep them covered or cast a spell on them or
Holy
something
crap,
to
I
make
didn't-
sure that they can't see what's going on.
This I did not know. This something you know? And I look to the left. No, not you. I don't give a shit about you.
Villette, no, but you do know that they were interested in getting as many Undaunted into the ranks of the conglomerate as possible. The reasons for which you do not know why.
I relay it as such. No.
Then I do not.
If I knew as such, do you think I would have so brazenly headed to Vrazig?
This makes sense. What was it that you do to his eyes to stop the sea?
It's a spell. Nothing much. Just aura around him. Now, they won't be able to see through his eyes or anything like that.
My presumption is that you're utilizing the first feature, and you're doing so with the intent to make a magical object appear non-magical, therefore creating no tether for the spell that links it.
Yep.
How long does that last?
Not too long, just 24 hours.
And you're able to continuously perform this?
I mean, if it's really necessary, I can just, Okay, so you bring me here, and there's an elf, and there's an Undaunted. Is there anything else hiding around here? Like, is there do you have the legendary Zelbor in here?
This is not something that I know.
Hold on.
But we have Dwarf Man.
Real quick. Just a passive insight of 10 would tell you that when he did the air quotes around Zelbor, he does not seem to believe that this person named Zelbor exists. You all know him as a famous bard who sometimes stops in Rostagar and sings songs and tells tales. He's apparently immortal and lives in the city of Netton.
No, this I need to know. Is Dwarf? He new friend? Points to Brox.
You're asking me if this new guy's a friend?
No, he asked if there's anything he didn't know about, and I'm like, did you meet Dwarf Man in Beck? This is new.
Yeah,
don't-
I seem distracted. I just give him a yeah, hi, and I go back to the same thing.
And I
then
think
Ren
other
would
lady here too.
Yeah.
Matt,
turn-
make
turn to
a
Yenlord.
wisdom perception check.
Wow, 19.
Yeah, when you were sent to Sayer's house a couple of days ago to break in and try and kind of figure out what was going on there, you were backed off by an insane dwarf, the big gun, who shot through the walls at your boys. And Peter still has a scar on his shoulder from one of the shots fired, and a couple missing teeth from a punch he got in the face. He said, you remember him saying the dwarf was scrawny like bones, but he caught him off guard with that punch. And looking at this dwarf, he looks like he's as thin as a dwarf can be. And you recognize him pretty well as the red-bearded dwarf that fought you back.
I've got a question for you, short dwarf. What's his name?
Rocks.
Is busy. He not want talk.
Wait, Brox, did you give someone a nice right hook the other day, just across the jawline?
Ooh.
I'll stop what I'm doing and give Matt my full attention. Assuming that I'll notice the mask at his head.
He's not flashing it. So make another perception check just to see if you can catch it.
Really want to see that.
Don't forget you slap the goggles on, kind of give it a look. Even with that, you still don't. Really bad rolls on that. You are not sure that he is an idealist.
I give quite a few people shiners. It's nothing out of it.
That's good. Peter needed a good punch across the face. He can be an ass sometimes. I like this guy.
Me too.
I'm wondering if it's safe to be here.
It's not too hard to piece that. Sorry, apologize. It's not too hard to piece that together, though, Brox. You don't need a perception check for that. He knew the name of the only person you punched probably in the last year or two. You don't really get into too many physical scuffles. You punched an idealist across the face.
So, you wouldn't need Peter as in one of those crazy cultists with the skull mask.
Yes, he is
What?
an idealist.
You mean one of these? And I would just I take the mask out and stick it on my face.
Do the eyes glow? Do you activate the eyes?
Oh yeah, the eyes are glowing and everything.
Orange glow to the eyes.
Nice.
Oh, I see. And then I will reach into my fucking cloak and pull out the pistol and point it at Matt's character.
Oh no!
John.
No! Oh God! Why does everyone keep doing this to me? No!
John.
Wait.
Okay.
Real quick.
Okay, wait.
Does the orange glow from the mask?
It's a device.
Is that similar to the orange glow I saw?
No.
Okay. Different.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely different. This is kind of like
Magical versus technological.
These you would actually kind of have an idea of the idealist's intent with those masks. They typically travel underground a lot, so your presumption is a lot of them have found ways to see in the dark.
Night vision goggles. Got it. Okay.
After cocking the hammer back,
Okay.
I'm gonna ask him, what were you doing here? Or what were you doing at Sayre's home?
I mean, I wasn't there. The boys were there, and I don't know. Someone told us to go rough up some people and find out some information about what she was doing. I can't remember why. Can I remember why, John?
Were you working for the
Yeah.
Adam?
No, real quick, Matt. You were trying to find out as much as you could about Sayre, because she was at the meeting where Isidore got taken by the conglomerate.
Makes sense.
I will ask if you were working for the Adam.
Adam, no, Sarah, this person, whoever, Sarah, Sir, Slurk, whatever her name is, she was at that meeting with Isidore, and we were just trying to figure out A, why, and B, why. Also C, why.
These are the idealists that attacked Sayre's home. Yeah, I fought them off. I'll announce out loud to the group.
Did any of us know about that?
Yeah.
I do. Really.
You're right. Yeah. So what? This is past.
Sayre's dead now.
But
You didn't have anything to do with it.
Sayre's
No,
dead.
why-
What happened?
Nobody told Valette the whole friggin' episode.
oh my God! You fucking blowing my shit up, bro!
It's like the end of the episode, and he finally finds out.
I was waiting for that.
Lauren, you're the worst. He tells his underlings, Jack.
There has been
shit.
no reference in my presence until right now.
Right.
I'll be honest, tear jerking if that might be, that is a hell of a stinger for an end of an episode. But do you guys want to go on a little bit longer, or do you want me to cut this? Okay,
I'm gonna keep going.
keep on going.
Good.
I'm good. And no, guys, I'm not even in the
True.
in through the back door, the other door.
I mean, your story makes sense saying that you were there in regards to Isidore, but I'm still pointing the hammer at you, or pointing the gun at you, and I'm not okay with it. I'm obviously very emotional right now.
What?
We just had a friend die, and you.
Gilbert, you said you were peeking into the room. Is that right?
I'm gonna be listening, but not peeking. Yeah.
Well, do you kind of come up close to the door to
Yeah.
get close and listen in? Okay. As you do
You
so,
want me to roll stealth?
nope. As you do so, you look down at your belt and you see Cranebeak's eyes start to glow. Meanwhile, in the room, the red from the blade
shit.
of the sword starts to glow from inside of your scabbard, Ren. Fury starts to kind of emanate heat while it sits out on the desk near where you set it to work. You can feel judgment kind of just pulsing with radiance behind you, and Yenlor, the dream shard, starts to sparkle its purple glow.
Out it comes out of the scabbard.
Captain Planet.
And Matt, Sam's dagger at his belt starts to kind of emanate energy again. This isn't the first time it's done it in the last couple of days, but it's doing it a bit stranger this time. It's grown more powerful in the past 6 days, but now it's kind of emanating a strange pink-colored light from the blade.
I don't think we're safe here, says Ren.
Why is mine
Someone
glowing pink?
Blame happened there.
Why am I Mr. Pink? Why can't he be Mr. Pink?
And so Ren would look to Valette and say,
Do you draw it out,
it was
Matt?
the one that killed.
Not yet, John.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead,
There are
Andy.
people pointing knives and guns at me.
Go ahead.
Ren would explain that he was killed by the Adamses, and her body was taken by the one that killed Vrazik, and points to the amulet on the,
John, do I get any kind of sense of why they would take a dead body?
Oh, I
Do you want to
think so.
interject anything out in the open that you know that they may not know? Or do you want to leave that to yourself?
What, me or someone else?
Tim.
Oh,
Because you may not have been told about a death, but other people haven't been told about something else either.
right.
Hmm.
No, exactly. Here comes the ball. It's about to drop. Like in shock. Why did you let her body? Sarah may yet walk this world. For Vrazik does as well.
We've tried to fight Viking before. We can't take.
Hold
I see.
up. Excuse.
That's what I was trying to hint at. Vrazik was the one I saw who was going to be possibly tailless. He wore an amulet similar to Viking, except it was red, and then upon the naming of some strange incantation, changed color to orange.
Hold on, who took what body?
Viking the Witch Hunter took Air's body. And also took the head of Vrazik.
Yeah, I have a theory that the amulet has something to do with the same ritual they used to create. However, the liquid glows green because the ritual is twisted and incomplete. It's not an actual spirit, it's some abomination that they bring into the world.
But what if the liquid grows red color?
That
John.
when that happens, it's complete. They complete the ritual, and that's what color your blood should. And when the ritual is completed and undaunted, the red liquid's called Viking.
And what is
Cut out again. What was the last part of that sentence?
mine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does orange mean?
I have no idea. I've never heard of it.
I look at our paranoid equate and only because, well, I quite honestly think you're a little nutty.
Understatement of the year.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up the words that changed the color were release control wind restriction 2.
I would like to just pause for a second. You literally see me just sort of like sit there and just sort of like stare off into the distance for a second. And then it's like a miniature explosion of curse words happens right in front of you. And it's just like, fucking damn shit bastard! You what? Did you? So this lady Viking, she took a body, and you let her do this? She's. I mean, like the worst that the conglomerate has, as far as I know, or at least up there, and you took them and let them cast this whole ritual thing where they just sort of like suck the blood out of someone and replace it with whatever it is that Undaunted have in them, and it's now suddenly this person's going to be walking around murdering people left, right, and center and trying to steal magic so that the conglomerate can get more power. This seer person.
Oh,
You people are mad.
at this moment, you start to think to yourself, like, if she's some kind of, like, celestial blooded or fiend blooded, she's even more powerful to them.
Well, I mean, especially since, you know, the fact that the conglomerate's using all of this so that they can open a portal to hell so that they can get the demons themselves to help them.
New information. So much is happening.
Oh, jeez. The cruise missile's gonna come and hit this shop pretty soon.
Yeah, we need to get out of here.
I'm gonna
Cracked.
lower my weapon. Crazy.
If Bakken comes, we can't even fight her. She's so tough. That's the problem.
Maybe with all of us we can.
Maybe.
No.
I have
So,
spare the dying cantrip now, so that's good.
I mean, hopefully I cast that spell on your friend in enough time. But, I mean, moving's not the worst idea.
Do me a favor. I haven't given you your special ability yet, Matt, but it's called Paranoia. I would like. I would like.
Nice.
I would like.
What?
I would like for you to make an intelligence investigation check at this point with advantage.
He's like Mulder.
21.
Yeah. And just so you know, the shorthand version of your special ability, Paranoia, is if the DM is about to do something that could potentially manipulate or mess with the situation, you see it coming before it happens. It's basically the shorthand.
Wait, you're basically saying I break the fourth wall.
Not so much. You kind of see things a bit differently, because this is your brain. This is how your brain works right now. You say, if I got it up in time, and you stop it and you say, even if I got it up in time, they'll know that the triggering word that caused the activation of the sight from the Undaunted was triggered, and the only way that it could have been triggered is if she read the letter, which he's currently holding in his hand, which means that they would know that he is here. Maybe he's not here with Ren, or maybe he was here and Ren didn't know about it. Either way, we've got to hide either him or all of us need to get out of this building.
Right, we need to either hide the Undaunted or we all need to leave here, like, now.
Let's get out.
You hear noise from the door.
Gilbert's gone.
Do you go out onto the street?
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab up all my shit and make sure I have everything and get ready to go. So I'm not actually gonna leave without him. But
Is
I'm
there a-
running around.
Wasn't there a back way?
Yeah,
and
there's a back door.
Car too.
Car's out front, bruh.
Gilbert, are you going outside?
I'm not gonna go outside because I don't want to get killed. But I'm gonna like grab all my shit. So let's go, guys.
Okay. Who's going out?
Hop in.
Who's going out the front door?
Yeah, who's gonna be the crazy one?
I'm
Valette.
assuming, yeah, that's Valette
That's
is
the
all
first
about that. She is all about that shit,
Are you
right?
going out the front door, Valette?
Valette's going
Here.
to a window to
Better.
walking towards the front door.
Better. We're gonna go ahead and just go from left to right and
Oh,
just ask you what
shit.
you're doing. Andy, immediately after Sam says what Sam says, what does Ren do?
Says to everyone, let's go out the back door.
Okay.
Heads that way.
Valette?
If Ren says that, Valet follows. No hesitation.
Broxgar?
Back door.
Gilbert?
I'm gonna have my long-range communicator packed up, have all my stuff ready to go, and I'm just gonna follow those two guys.
Okay.
Did you hear that? You go. Oh yeah, you're listening. That's right.
I was spying on you guys. So.
Were you after you went and got and packed up all your stuff?
No, I wasn't. Actually,
Sam?
I packed up my stuff and then go back in to see you guys.
Front or back door?
Okay. Cool.
I am actually going to start heading towards the back door, and as I'm heading towards the back door, I am casting another spell, and suddenly a image of Valette just appears in the corner of the office as I walk out of the door.
Okay. Yen Lauren.
Also, the image of Valette lasts for 10 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'll just follow.
Okay. Who would be the last out the door, do you guys think?
Sounds like. I don't know.
I would like to.
I
be
mean, if I'm
behind
casting a spell, I
Sam.
need to at least stay there for a couple of seconds, so I might be the last one out.
Gilbert
No, I'm gonna wait until he casts the spell and be the last one out.
Okay. Yen Lauren,
If
you're the
everyone
last-
else just like ran out the door.
If you're the last one out, you'll experience the circumstances that will be happening here a little differently than everyone else. As you guys get outside, you notice that there are lights blasting everywhere on the front street. You can kind of, when you're outside of a spotlight, it's completely dark where you're at, but there's still like that brightness coming from the other side of the building. That's the effect you're getting in. You're in a dark alleyway behind a building that is currently being lit up by spotlights. Where are those spotlights coming, you ask? You look up and you see that there is a very large, 150 or so foot long, 40 or 50 foot wide airship hovering above you.
Oh shit!
And descending from it are two flat boat-like devices that seem to hit with a bit of force on the stone outside of the front. Yeah, Lauren, the way you're experiencing it is you're looking out like the side, just keeping an eye on the door as you're exiting, and you see the lights kind of blast out the front, and then you see two large forms kind of slam into the ground from above as you exit out the back door and close it behind you. What would you guys like to do at this point?
Get the heck out of
Get in
there.
the car.
No, the car's in the front. We're leaving. Forget the
Oh,
car.
And real quick,
Alright.
Sam, this is not your first rodeo with this kind of skyship. The skyship in question is technically illegal, even to the conglomerate, but it's one of their marauder ships. Basically, witch hunters use these ships to go where they please, and they're very hard to detect.
Well, yeah, of course this is what the conglomerate uses. I mean, this is the best way to spread
Yeah.
around their magic dust.
You're pretty sure whoever just landed out front is a witch hunter.
Yeah, and I'm guessing I know pretty much which one it might be.
Well,
Do you?
it's a renegade of some sort, to be sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I sincerely doubt I actually know who it is. It's just,
Valette seems like the most likely choice.
Paranoid coming to get me.
Oh, it's you. It's definitely you. No. Okay, you guys head away from there. Which direction are you guys heading? Are you heading towards the ports, or are you heading in deeper to Spellmoth?
So would Ren know, since this is like his area where his office is, the quietest, the most secluded way to get out?
You're pretty sure with the availability of lights and presence there, if you stay anywhere in this borough, they might be able to track you. You're pretty sure that your best bet is to get to the port area. I always forget the name of that borough because I'm an idiot. But heading south is probably your best bet.
Port area sounds perfectly fine.
Let's do that.
Yep.
Bearport is the name.
Sounds like a nudist airport.
All right, fair enough. I guess that's true. Damn it. But yeah, that'd probably be the safest bet.
Let's do that.
Yeah, the only place that you frequented as of late in Bearport is Stonechild Park, but it's not exactly the safest place from your last experiences there. Is there anywhere, I mean, again, not terribly familiar with the area, is there anywhere in particular that you're wanting to go directionally once you arrive in Bearport?
Do we know if there's any place where we can get a boat to travel to another part of the city unseen?
Yeah, that's possible. Absolutely. Bearport would be the place to do it. I'd like for you.
I have the whole.
Actually, you're not sure that you could bring up those resources in a quick bit. You're not very familiar with a lot of the folks here and don't have too many connections. If you had someone that was a bit more
Okay.
connected and had access to kind of gleaning that kind of materials, you might be better for it. But you're not the guy.
I
So
might
even
be
like
able
if I've got
to
the
get contacts, I might have contacts,
thing?
guys.
So yeah, you're in frequent contact with people in Spellmoth. Yeah.
okay.
And you deal with specifically like the types of people that kind of move through your fields, which would be criminals. You're not looking for a criminal. You're just looking for somebody who can get you a boat ride. You're not looking for a
Okay,
smuggler.
so maybe Gilbert.
I might have contacts, yeah. What about if I use my
Special ability.
extensive
Yeah.
contacts? Yeah.
Go ahead and roll me a resources check.
Roll a resource. I don't remember what I roll for that. It says,
Should say in the
blah,
description.
blah, blah. Yeah, hold on a minute. You make a special wisdom insight check. All right, wisdom insight. And so insight, I think. Boy, I hope I have that as. I think it's. I think I have that as proficient. Let me check real quick. Yep, wisdom insight. I do. So, sorry guys. So, I'm good. Gosh, my like thing is doing weird stuff. I'll be there in a second. All right, this is it.
Okay.
Boom. Didn't
Did-
I click on that?
Did it roll?
I mean,
I ain't
take a
see
second- sometimes
shit.
take a second for Kevin.
There it
saying
goes.
that
I rolled it. Oh, it rolled a 17. Then the second roll is a 25. But I'll take the 17.
You're rolling to yourself, I think.
Nah, there it goes. That was weird as shit.
Yeah.
Wasn't that
Kevin
weird?
thinks-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Kevin
weird.
thinks takes a little while to update sometimes. I don't know why.
Yeah, sorry. We're slow here in Pennsylvania.
Well, you
Apparently.
you know of a orc, Gilbert, named Vec, son of Gib, who
Ooh, all right.
he has a pretty small ferry boat that he does transport folks from like near about Stonechild to other boroughs. He could get you either to Old Rostagar or Sunsphere. Sunspire.
All right. I would tell everybody that and say, where do you want to go? Where did you say was Old Rastigar or Sunspear?
Sunpike even. So that is my brain working. Old Rostigar is the light purple borough, and the bright yellow borough on the western side is Sunspike.
So what do you guys want to do with this? Where, like I tell everybody, where do you want to go? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just have no input.
Yeah.
Could you click on them, John? This is the Sun Pike, right?
Bright yellow to the west. That's
to the
Sunpike.
west, Okay.
And then the purple is to the east, right?
Yeah, where House Wellenbart and House Karloff and the place where you're from.
All right. You know what? We don't have a mission right now. This guy wants to go check out the basement of that place. I honestly can't think of a better idea. So let's go east. Let's go see if we
Like
can
a
get into
bonding
that
trip,
house.
you mean?
Why not?
All right.
We can't go back to
All
Spellmoth for a little bit. That's
So
You could-
Vex
my
sounds,
executive decision.
Vex sounds a bit like Ray Romano, and he kindly, says that he can do it, and he owes you a favor for it. And
Oh, you're not gonna. Oh, hey guys! You're not gonna
I'm
do
not
the
gonna do
thing
it.
because I really want it.
I'm
I
not gonna
really
do.
want it.
I'm not gonna do a
I
Kevin
want it.
impersonation.
I want a Ray Romana.
He's
But
gonna lose his shit if you do it.
I'm not gonna do a Kevin impersonation, but I hope you guys got the joke. It's
Yeah.
Beck,
I
son
did.
of Gib.
Son of Gib. I got it.
Got
I wrote
it.
it down.
Yeah, it's,
Great.
it's a real dorky thing that I did because I couldn't think of an
That's
NPC's
awesome.
name.
That's fine.
Anyways, you guys take the boat that way.
Beautiful.
Sweet.
Not looking back, but you do see that the lights do dissipate after a fashion.
Right.
So, once you arrive in Old Rostigar, it is rather late, getting closer to, I'd say, 10-ish in the evening time. Where would you guys like to go?
Oh shit! Do you guys want to go to House Karloff at night?
That
That's
would
really
be
cool.
super spooky and fun.
I think we need a. Don't we? Does anyone else need to rest? I feel like I do. We haven't rested since Sayer died. I got beat up a little bit.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Gonna
I've got
start-
4 hit points right now. Like, I'd love a long.
The closest inn that you guys can find is a Noble Regency inn, and the prices are not cheap.
Where did we just?
Gilbert's good.
Which borough?
You guys went to Old Rostigar, so you guys are about here.
I mean, here's a question: is there like a bar around somewhere that we could just take like a short rest at?
No. There are no tap rooms in Old Rostigar except for the closest one is either in Bearfort.
How long would the boat ride take? Can I get a short rest on the boat?
Nah, it's
Do I know of
Alright.
any members of the Tinker's Guild that live in this borough?
there are a couple nobles who would be in your guild that would be present. Let's see.
Is there anybody else that's actually
Yeah.
still injured from that battle?
So
Guild membership. That's a good idea.
hey, Joe, you know that there is a fellow in the Tinker's Guild whose name is Corey Archild. And he is a human. Yeah. Unnecessary ease in there, actually. He's a human. Nice enough fellow. He's one of the vassal families of House Rostigar, so not too terribly reputable. And from what you gather from him, he's pretty low key. Just kind of keeps to himself. He's not involved in anything weird. He's probably the most normal person in D&D you can think of.
I know a guy who might be able to give us a room for the night, but we'd have to be out by the. And,
This is fine. I am still quite injured. And I think we could all use with a rest from this evening's activities. Do you disagree?
I think it's a great idea.
Okay. You easily enough.
Search out for-
Sorry, you easily enough find his house. He doesn't live too far away from House Karloff, which is another vassal family. Probably about 5 doors down. This house is not gated like Karloff's house was. It's doesn't have much real estate kind of around it. There isn't much landscaping or anything. It seems like every inch of his property has been built upwards on. There are a number of different spires that kind of erupt out of the building that look like they take on kind of an elvish kind of architecture. The base portions of the structure are more dwarvish, and then there are high kind of vaulted buttresses, flying buttresses on the top portions in the center of the house that look like they are kind of built in more the western styles of the Janarans. And then in the very center of this house, which is, to be completely honest, just a hideous mess, standing up out of the top of it is a pagoda.
I want to knock on the door.
You walk up to it, you knock on the door opens, a young man opens the door and kind of looks to you, says, "Hail, are you here to speak to Lord Archild?"
Yes, tell him that Master Blaze Hatchet is here to see him.
"Oh, I'm familiar with the name. Please come in, step inside. Are these your associates?"
These are my associates. We're here
Oh,
on
also-
guild business.
As I'm going to herald them to my master, if I might ask. Your names, please. First and sir.
Well, I can introduce them. I'll just point.
Okay.
Introduce their name.
It kind of comes to a point where you have two strange ones that you're going to have problems with. Sam, whose last name you never caught, and Follette, whose name you aren't currently aware of. She's still in Blaze form, so if you go by that, that's fine, but
Well,
Yeah, I go by Jimmy.
Jimmy Blades, okay.
Jimmy
And
Blades. Sam, I'll just like snap my fingers. Sam, I didn't catch you.
Johnson.
Sam Johnson.
Okay. Well, let me go and see if my lord is willing to receive guests. Please wait here in the foyer. Steps up, large winding steps that kind of go up into the higher points. You assume where the buttresses and the base of the pagoda kind of start off at.
John, also,
Uh-huh.
while we're sitting there, I just open up my hand and start eating berries and offer one to Yen Lauren.
Gladly accepts.
You heal 1 hit point, and you feel like you just ate a meal.
Your kindness is much appreciated.
Yeah, no problem. You look like you need it. Anyone else? I've got. How many do I have? It's like 5.
10.
10.
Up to 10 berries. 10.
Just look at you with a distrusting look.
It's okay. I ate one myself.
Perfectly fine to watch me eat it and not say anything now. I just want it stated.
You ate one. The one that he hands Broxgar could be different.
Could be different. Yeah.
They're not.
We're not
Fair-
talking fluid
fair
dynamics.
enough.
We're not talking fluid dynamics. We're talking berry dynamics here.
Well,
The-
cultists and spells. That's not my jam.
It's not my berry jam. But anyways, you guys are looking around. The foyer is very similar in style to Lady Karloff's. There are 2 double doors, pocket doors to the north side, or the front side away from you. There are 2 doors, one to the left, one to the right, and 2 spiral staircases that lead upwards. However, a main difference is that above you, there are a number of different cables that seem to attach to a very large ring. And in the center of that ring are a number of other rings that are kind of offset, skew angles from the center ring. And on each of those rings, there appears to be an orb locked into it. Yen Lauren, this looks very much like an orrery, which are used to kind of track the movements of the celestial bodies in the heavens. You do notice a very distinct and very subtle movement in it. It does seem to be an orrery that is powered by the arcane. And there's shelves nearby as well, that some of them have books and some of them have other, ornamentation, statues, and what have you. Anything you guys want to do while you wait?
Appreciate this beautiful thing.
Okay. Yeah,
I
it's
want to see if there.
good.
I was going to say I want to see if there are any signs or symbols that I know of.
So
You
for
know, the conglomerates that are around.
yeah, there are none of those symbols. For you, you're primarily book trained, if I recall, not so much like in a very open or traditional place in your kind of like knowledge of the primal magics and magic in general. But even still, with that knowledge, you're sensing something from this device above you that you've seen things that are powered by electricity. I mean, the city lights, the trolleys, etc., are powered by the circuitry underneath. But this appears to be kind of innately powered. Like it was built in such a way that the rings in the device are much like a clock, but a clock that is powered itself. Symbol-wise, you definitely track that there are a total of 12 rings on the internal, and each one of them has a marking that is in line with the Elvish zodiac.
Would I know anything about this family? Is it anything that they have to do with the court?
Corey Archild is, from what you've overheard, is a bit of a recluse, but not in a negative fashion. A lot of the vassal families are, to be honest. House Karlov, House Archild, House Simaldric. They kind of keep to themselves. From what you've overheard, Corey Archild is the only court-appointed wizard, and is not affiliated with the conglomerate, but is a licensed caster.
Nice.
After a few moments, if you guys don't do anything else, the young man returns back into the foyer, and as does another gentleman. This fellow that comes down, Brox, of course, you know him. Definitely on the venerable side. Quite old. He doesn't have a beard as your traditional old wizard might, but he wears kind of tattered blue robes and a blue cloak. Holding the cloak to him and kind of like wrapped around his neck is a very ornate, polished ebon kind of pauldrons with gold filigree and gemstones kind of set into it, forming arcane marks. For what you can gather, the symbol in question appears to be the symbol of House Archild to you, Gilbert. Just ornately displayed instead of its normal heraldic presentation. He also carries with him a staff that appears to be made out of living wood, and capping the staff is, ornate kind of twisting of the roots of this branch, holding a green gemstone. He comes down, kind of looks to Brox and says, "My Lord Blaze Hatchet, what brings you here at this late hour?"
Master Archild, it's good to see you, young man. My friends and I, we've been out having a few too many drinks, and I was in the neighborhood, and I thought I might ask you for lodging for the evening.
Drinking an old Rastagar. Very strange for a collegiate like yourself. Must be good friends of yours.
We've all had a mutual friend pass near here in the area. So
oh heavens, no.
It's natural for us to congregate here.
Understandable. Well, I do apologize for your loss. I suppose
I appreciate it.
I can have apartments made ready for you. I do have to ask though. My Lord Keen Eyes, is it?
It is?
Yes, I am familiar with your name. An associate of mine has mentioned you a number of times in questions and inquiries and discussions about his techniques and who they've been passed on to. You are familiar with your mentor? That is you, is it not? Am I speaking to the right person here?
And so in terms of the mentor, who is he referring to?
You have two mentors, one that's known and one that is not known.
Okay. So we visited the mentor that is known, who is from another borough.
Yeah, what's his name? No worries, you just passed on inspiration, that's all. Gareth Melgathane.
Crap!
It's fine.
Just found it!
I apologize, I went too hastily.
He's an older Astagar borough, yeah. We had breakfast at the Filch Feather.
Just recently?
We did.
Oh, interesting. So, you must not have been in town too long in our borough here. I'm not trying to check out your story, Master Blaze Hatchet, of course. I would never presume, especially as much as you've taught me about the finer workings, as I am a bit lower in tier in the guild. To Master Broxgar here. It is very interesting, the company you keep, though, is all that I wanted to point out. It's good that you are on the side of the law, but he kind of turns his head and looks to Jimmy Blades. And then kind of looks to Sam. And then kind of looks back to you. Just a very interesting group is all I'm saying.
I've made a lot of friends. I've lived in Raskar over 100 years, Corey. You know that.
Of course.
A lot of friends from a lot of walks of life.
Of course.
Including a nobleman such as yourself.
Well, being here in Rastagar, I do say that The bear does not know much of shame, he says as he looks to Sam.
This is the mecca of industry, Corey. Everyone's drawn to Rastakar. They come from all over the world to see our beautiful.
I'm just going to pause for a second, stare at the guy, and say,
As Brox
"Something about owls."
is talking, he kind of is staring at Sam just intently. And Lauren, your brain kind of flares immediately. You're like, you see, that's how the password's supposed to be done.
Right?
And I'm just sort of like sitting there, and I'm just sort of like muttering under my breath, something about owls.
I'm sorry. Yeah. God damn it.
If none of us remember this, that's great.
Haha.
It's okay. You just.
Owls aren't so lucky.
It's okay, Matt. You just missed out on your chance to gain inspiration. That's all.
That's okay. Honestly, I think it's appropriate that Sam can't even remember the password.
Anywho, he kind of looks to Yen Lauren surprised and kind of goes, and then walks over to Broxgar and smiles. My friend, you can sleep here, drink freely of my wines and my ales. If anything can be brought for you, you must simply ask my associate here, Little Joseph. He will bring you anything that you wish. And knowing that we have this connection, and understanding our connection here, I believe it is the most ideal situation that could have unfolded. Okay, thank you. I must be going back to sleep. It is a pleasure meeting all of you. Have a great night. And he walks up his stairs.
Oh, the owl bear. No, that's not right.
Joseph kind of stands there saying, if there's anything I can get you, my lords, and my lords, all lords here, no ladies, you currently, Jimmy Blades.
Well, we can start with some of that ale Corey mentioned.
I'll get it.
Much appreciated.
I will bring it out to the tables with a light sup. And he heads away.
Sup and drink we shall.
He moves to the back doors, opens one side of the pocket doors. It enters into a large banquet hall, not covered with a bunch of bodies, and moves into a side chamber which appears to be to a larder and kitchen. The table out before you is nice and neat, but does not look like it has been set in some time. A light film of dust is present on the table and on the chairs. If you take your seats, a few moments later, he comes out with sweetbread, coffees, and also several bottles of wine, which have been set ties.
Excuse me, good sir. I've got a bit of a question for you really quickly.
Yes.
It's been a while since I've let myself have relief. So is there, like, you know, a piss pot around here somewhere?
Sure. Gestures to the side.
Okay, I'm going to go into the piss pot, and I'm
Okay.
going to be in there for 10 minutes as I ritually cast Detect Magic.
Got it. Okay, we'll get back to you in a bit. Broxgar, Gilbert, Valette, Yen Lauren, Ren, you guys are sitting at the table, drinking, eating. Anything you want to discuss before you guys get to Sleeptown?
In idle conversation, I just mentioned that Corey is an upstanding good fellow. He was a good student 50, 60 years ago. And he's lived here in Rastakar his entire life, and he's lived a good life as a prominent figure in our society.
But you would also pick up on what he put down just a moment ago, right, Joe?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But I'm just saying, he's good. He's good people.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just saying it should shake on to your idea of how the idealists work. You're pretty sure he's one of them.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, I believe Sam's story. It
Yeah.
made sense.
Okay. Well, 10 minutes later, out comes you. The dining room has a strange coloration of magic that is emanating on the windows, around the windows.
Are you talking to Matt? Because he said BRB and he's
Oh.
like currently not on cam. So I
I
just
was-
want
Hear
to.
you?
Okay. I didn't know if you
I-
could. I didn't know if you were there. I didn't want to like waste all of our time.
I'm sorry.
I needed to run and take care of a cat thing really quickly. But I can
Apologies.
still hear it because Bluetooth headphones.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I didn't even look at the screen, so thank you for catching that. I was actually reading my notes on the house. Sorry. But the windows do have runic symbols that have been kind of emblazoned on the outskirts of the windows. You're pretty sure those are words, explosive runes. The front room, you can kind of see that there's a lot of magic glowing from that orrery. And you also notice that there's a faint enchantment about the house that seems to be very similar in kind to your magic aura that you cast on the Undaunted. And these are all permanent, so you're pretty sure whoever cast them and basically grafted them into the wood of this house was quite powerful.
Gotcha. Sounds good.
To you guys, anything else that you want to discuss before hitting the hay?
No, I'm just gonna head to bed.
Okay. If that's the case, pretty good point to wind down and call it for the evening. You guys go to sleep, and we'll basically start back up as we do with most of the sessions we've done for this game, which is interesting. I like it. We'll wake up the next day, and we'll go ahead and start from there. Sound good?
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
that works.
All right. Stopping the stream.